Pasadena is not.
And so they Tamar started. Her sister started the Tony Braxton challenge, where you have to sing songs like Tony. So it's been a whole bunch of people saying,
Let me address this motherfucker in the middle real quick.
Who you gonna address?
This nigga here talking about he got the wrong young girl. Unless that bitch is Doogie Howser, she don't know half the shit us old bitches know. I would tell you that.
Doogie.
Right now.
You didn't give him not only a dude, you gave him a dick. Not Doogie Howser.
She's the wrong young bitch. These young bitches don't know a motherfucking thing. You ain't made the game. Your gang reflexes ain't the same. With you clutching your Barbara Bush
That is hilarious. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Bring It to the Table. And what you saw before was some of our, shows from 29 weeks ago. So I'm telling y'all, it's been actually 30 weeks. 30 weeks of this makes week 30. So you've been looking at 29 weeks of us acting the fool. That number one, though, with Byron and showing the nipples, that shit is crazy.
Because we started in May.
May 5th.
So it's been 8 months.
Has it?
Yeah. May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Well, December, the end of December will be 8 months.
Yeah. Hey, so I tell you, I'm glad you guys are around. I just literally flew back in town for my show in Florida. I sang with the Philharmonic, the Orlando Philharmonic, and I was their featured artist, featured guest. It was great. Singing in front of, it was, I think, 25,000 people? It was 20 or 25,000 people. Yeah. All of Orlando comes out for that. It's a seasonal thing. And we were on this big ass football field and they had everything blocked out. It was really nice. 40-piece orchestra behind me. It was really dope how they had it done. So thank you, Florida Philharmonic. Yeah, thank you, Florida Philharmonic. I really appreciate that. So yes, Gene, go ahead and give that.
We give the disclaimer because I got some questions about that. But before we begin and go right into all of our festivities, please put the children and elderly people up. There's going to be some profanity and confrontation sometimes, just straight fuckery every now and then. And the kids should be just put them up, put them down, bring them back later. Okay?
Yes. Oh, let me make the correction. 2,500. Because I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, I was going to say, when you said 25,000, I was like,
sorry. 2,500 people.
Fuck COVID is what they said.
No. 2,500 people. And the way they had their tables, everything was like spaced out. And it was really like, I felt immediately safe. Like there was no question to it. Now, I will tell you that Florida is really lax in their COVID procedures and COVID shit. Like there were people walking around with no mask on. There were folks want to shake my hand. I was just like,
you were like,
folks want to give me a hug. I was like, hold on a second. No, thank you. Move. And there were a lot of Dancing with the Stars fans. So we just wrapped Dancing with the Stars last Monday. Nelly did not win, in case you guys haven't watched it. So glad. But my guy who I wanted to win, Neve, didn't win. The Bachelorette won. So, it's Bachelorette Nation. They all, go for her. So she won, and I think her name was Caitlin. So kudos to Caitlin and her partner, great for you guys. And we did get picked up for another season. So we're excited about that. Season 30, we got it. So yeah. But the Florida Philharmonic was, it was literally done Monday in rehearsal.
What did you sing? I want to know. Like, what did you?
So I sang about 7 Christmas songs, and I sang one song. It was some of them were opera, and some of them were "Oh come, all ye faithful, joyful." Yeah, my low octave, and I was singing it. It was very good. And then I sang "Joy to the World," Whitney Houston's version.
Oh, I missed
it. The choir was slamming. The choir was amazing. Most of the choir members knew who I was, which was really a beautiful thing. They had, known me from Dancing with the Stars, and some of them know me from this other website that I've been a part of. And it was beautiful. We had a lot of Dance with the Stars fans there. People met me outside the gate with banners and stuff like, oh, we know we love you, CJ. And they knew which
Oh.
songs I sang. They knew, like, it was crazy. It was crazy. They wanted to take pictures and everything. And I looked back and I was like, okay, this is how it is. Let's go. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I'm just extremely, I got back again last night. I'm extremely exhausted because, you know, went from one show right into the other and back to back and flew out on Thursday. So really exhausted, but I'm glad to be back. And let me tell you, I'm going to quarantine for about 4 to 5 days. I get tested again on Saturday just to make sure. And you and I can go hang and get a drink. How about that? Because I have missed you.
The beautiful thing is your city and my city are the only two cities that are not complying.
Because we have our own health officials.
To Long Beach.
Yeah, you know, come on to Pasadena, because we have our own health officials and health. We ain't talking about like shutting everything down. There are cafes down the street from me that are open on the street. Good. I was like, see, that's what you get for living in good old Pasadena and good old Long Beach. Mm-hmm. Yep. So
everything by the water is still open.
That's good. That's good. How was your week?
It was good. You know, I worked a 3-day weekend in Westwood, so and it was productive. You know, no complaints.
Yeah.
Same old, same old. I rested yesterday.
That's good.
Monday, and then today I got up and did some work, and I saged, and you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you this right after the show. And I see a lot of, if y'all could do me a favor, some of the people out there, post the link within my page that I have on my Facebook page. Post the link there. And tell anybody if they want to come and see the show here that they'll have the link there. Because I know that someone said that they, from the link that I posted, they weren't able to get on. So if one of y'all good people who loves us and watch the show, just go ahead and post this to the page that I have so folks can join and get on.
Now, real quick, I want to. Kyron will be joining us shortly, guys.
He will, yeah.
I know we just kind of started talking like he wasn't here, but he'll be here soon.
He will be here soon. I will tell you that thank you, Wendy. I will tell you that I am using December as a month of cleaning house. Not only my house, but cleaning everything from relationships to clutter, mental and physical. And I want to step into the new year with I don't make New Year's resolutions, but I do know that in order to initiate change, some things have to change within you. And so, excuse me, it ain't COVID. Don't be talking.
As soon as you cough, wait.
I know, right? But you know, I just when I say Florida had a good impact on me, because the last 2 days I was there, I was just there doing nothing. Just my hotel literally faced a lake, and it was absolutely beautiful. I went for a 4-mile walk, and just thought about a lot of shit. And I thought about you know, the new crew that's being presented to my life, the friends that I have in my life that are for me, and no second guessing MOs, you know what I'm saying? And it's just it's I think I'm using December as a time to really, you know, get that together, you know, cling tighter to the folks who I know love me and have good intentions for me, and that's it. And you know, I did my, you know, my friend assessment, and you were ranked high up there. You were ranked high because you know what? I don't look at you like my friend no more. You like sis. That, you know, that's what it is. And I look at, like, when I get those big dates to be on tour or whatever, when that starts happening back up, I know that I can have you in the dressing room and be like, hey, what's he at? Like, you can't come up and, like, I know who would have my back in situations. You know what I'm saying? So I just and I just like being around your ass. So it's just like we talked about it last week, you know, and I just looked at, you know, just made an assessment. And so I'm encouraging everyone, you know, just like you do vision boards for the new year, do an assessment board for the folks that are in your life, for the folks you love, for the folks, you know, who you really have close to you. And it may not mean anything to be rid of them. It's just that sometimes you just move on. You know what I'm saying? And so, and that's just what, you know, what's happening with me. But
it's funny you say that, because I used to say move on as if I was leaving, but I'm really not going anywhere. Like, I just went through this. I've outgrown certain situations. I'm not even mad about it. Like, I don't have any ill will or anything, but I reflected, especially through my birthday and stuff like that. People teach you how to treat them, and I'm no longer showing up for people who don't show up the same.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to match your efforts. And what happens is when you start matching people's efforts, then they wonder what's wrong with you. No, motherfucker, I'm doing you. Don't get mad at me because I pulled a you on you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for saying I look rested. I feel good. It's just that your boy need a rest. You know, Florida was it was great. I'm telling you, those last 2 days I was like, yeah. But I think I'm gonna surprise Jean and I'm gonna take her somewhere, you know, because I didn't get a chance to hang for her birthday and I didn't get to do so. I think I'm gonna probably do that. And I ain't telling y'all because y'all will be done popped up somewhere. You know, motherfuckers did that shit. We said where we were going, and then y'all just popped up as motherfucking bullshit.
Yeah, I don't think they know about that. They don't
right.
know. Just to let you know, somebody popped up on us.
You know,
we were like,
and then, you know, I may go to Vegas because I got my Vegas family already online. Rosemary, make sure that you guys check out See Me Collections. Rosemary has designed some beautiful items for me. She also designed some things for Nene Leaks, which is, of course, a friend of mine. And but yeah, go to See Me Collections. You can find her posted on my page. You can also go, it's SIMEE Collections, and she has a new line called Macadocious. And let me tell you something, it's the bomb. You're gonna want, and it's unisex. You're gonna want to wear it. It is like the shit. You want to wear it. And she's my island gal, you know, from Jamaica. You know, when I say me do it, me luck it, me look it. You know what I say? It's good. It's real good.
I'm drinking Jamaican rum wine right now, made by one of my favorite Jamaican friends.
Yes, and
Rosemary!
she's been featured in Vogue magazine 6 times, and I tell you, I love her. That's big sis. And so y'all going over to See Me Collections and get y'all some stuff, because I'm telling you right now, it's some good shit going on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and so I just wanted to, you know, talk about, you know, the friendships and cleaning house and things like that. And again, it's no reflection on liking you, loving you, nothing like that. It's just something you have to do for yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's just something you have to. Yourself is number one priority, and I think that people nowadays should start taking care of that. What's up, Precious? Is it Precious?
My goddaughter, yeah.
Oh, that's your goddaughter. And I think that, you know, as people are trying to normalize mental health, I believe that it is time to also put yourself first and not be jealous. You know, and I'm sorry, not have it being a selfish act, because it's not a selfish act to put yourself first. Hell, when you're on an airplane, they tell you to put that mask on yourself so you can live to help the other person. So I think that in this season, just for me, I am gonna do an assessment board, and just things pop up, people pop up. People
go, are here for a season, and some people are here for a lifetime.
And I just
know really blessed to have some amazing friends, female and male friends. Like, I am not deprived in that area. I have my New Jersey friends, my Maryland friends, my Arizona friends, my LA friends, and you know, I can say I have friends that date back to the 6th grade. One is on here right now. And
yes.
Friend. So, you know, if I lose one, okay. But I know those people I've never lost. Like my friend Tiffany and Nasha, and those are people that have been in my life and seen me grow up, grow down, fall up, sit down, stand up. They've seen it all, and they're still here. And that part right there is priceless. It's never been conditional with them.
My best friend of, oh my God, since 6th grade, me and her, we were talking literally right before I got on the show, and we were just talking about, you know, friendships and how they develop, and who to talk to, who not to talk to, who to tell you shit to, who not to tell you shit to, and just you know, just really tightening up that security net for your personal space and your personal, you know, just your person. And I think that with how COVID has gone and how people are, you know, moving and maneuvering throughout this time, I think it's really a time to assess. I'm going to keep using that word. It's a time to assess. It's a time to assess. So, and that's all. You know, that's all. I love everybody who is in my life. It's just that
even the seasonal ones. It's not a right or wrong thing. I just sometimes you want to hold on to people that are supposed to be temporary.
Yeah. Like let me ask some of y'all out there, how do y'all feel about that? Like, how do you guys feel about making assessments in your life for this closing of the year? Again, I don't do New Year's resolutions. I never have.
Oh, neither.
I don't think they're worth it. Because think about how many people had New Year's resolutions this year, and COVID fucked y'all up. You know what I'm saying? So with this, I just want to know, how many people. Maybe I do need to go to Vegas. Maybe we need a Vegas trip.
I do 6-month plans. I evaluate the past 6 months, and then I make a sharp, abrupt, sever the tie decision quickly in 6 months. And so I never did New Year's resolutions. I evaluate your position, and I make the assessment. I count the cost and everything that I do. When I say I count the cost, meaning how much is this going to cost me mentally, spiritually, physically to keep you or move on.
Mm-hmm.
And whichever one outweighs the other wins.
Yeah. And, really, it feels like a weight's being lifted. Like, I feel good. I don't feel like I have to necessarily give a reason or justification of why. It's just, it feels good. Yeah, and it feels good. It feels okay. And so, yeah, I thank you, T, for telling me I look rested and things like that. But you ever say Vegas, baby? Some people saying Vegas. Come to Vegas. If I do, I ain't telling it on here. I'll pop up somewhere and be like, I'm in Vegas, y'all.
I want to go on a ski trip.
I wouldn't mind that.
I want to go sit in the cabin. I want to dress up in a ski outfit. I'm not going to ski.
Yeah.
But I want to go sleigh riding and hot chocolate.
Yeah, and bundled up and be.
Yeah, see, camping to me has stainless steel appliances in it. So I just want to be in a cabin with, maybe 8 people, 6 people, and go tubing.
Go back to what Rosemary said, Wendy. COVID in 2020 has caused many of us to assess everything that breathes. You ain't never lied.
You ain't never lied, Rosemary.
You ain't never. Vegas got snow too. Yeah, I heard. Yeah. I mean, especially during these 11 weeks that I've been, gone and been on Dance with the Stars, which I feel incredibly blessed to have been, be working. And hey, is that Unkennedy?
Go back to that.
There? Was that Unkennedy talking?
Yes, that's my auntie.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It's a necessity. It's called growth.
It's called growth. Yeah, it's called growth. I think too, when you be around, Jennifer Lewis said it perfectly one time. If you stay around shit so long, it'll start smelling good.
Or normal, you stop smelling it actually.
It won't stink no more. It won't stink no more. It won't stink no more. And I think that
maybe that's why some people can't smell their own stink ass breath sometimes. Is that why? Because I be wondering.
I'm gonna say this: stank breath is a sign of evilness.
It's coming from, you know why? Because spiritually it's in your gut and it's coming from your gut.
I ain't lying. I have always thought that those pastors that have had stank breath, I'm like, you are ministering to the devil. It ain't. I have always thought that, because I'm sitting here like, you can smell your own breath. You can taste your own breath. You really can. And when your breath when your breath ain't right, your body ain't right, and something wrong with you. And if you trying to be all up in my face talking to me about not today, Satan. Not today, Satan. Not today.
Smelling like you've been sipping on a shit smoothie.
There have been moments where I've had my mask on and I'm like, okay, let me go do something about this.
Me too. I'm like,
let me do something about this right here. So this ain't the business. This is not the business.
Around with morning breath at 3 p.m. If y'all
that ain't the business. Anywho, I'm gonna get to some of these topics today. All right, so y'all heard about Bill Cosby, right?
Refresh my memory.
All right, so Bill Cosby is serving a 3 to 10 year sentence for sexual assault, right? For actually one case, not all of the cases everybody thought. It was just one case because it was still within the parameters of criminal whatever. Anyway, so it says that they are troubled by the case because the Supreme Court is now questioning should they have allowed more than one person to testify against Bill Cosby, and that they shouldn't have allowed 5 women whose cases actually were never proven. That was one thing. Actually, whose cases were never proven to testify against Bill Cosby for this one person's claim. And so now that they're saying that they now have legal rights to the to appeal. Mm-hmm. And so they're going to take it to the appellate court, and now they have more legs to stand on.
Leave him alone. Let it go.
So I think with Bill Cosby, I still watch the Cosby Show. I'm gonna just say that. And I still watch A Different World. Those are classic TV shows that they're nostalgic. They make me feel good while watching. I don't think about when I look at Theodore Huxtable, I don't think of him being a child. I mean, what is
47. Do you know what 47 is? See, our president was number 45, but he had 47 cases of rape and sexual assault against him over time. He should be with Bill Cosby. Yes, no, I don't know.
Of course,
But the fact that there are those types of people who are walking around on this earth right now. Bill Cosby is 111 years old. There is no fucking reason for him to be behind bars. He can't even hold a Quaalude to give it to nobody. He done served his time in life. And again, I have an opinion on that. Everybody was doing Quaaludes during that time. Everybody was doing drugs and having their issues. I'm gonna leave that alone. We talked about it already.
Can we even talk about FBI director? What was his name? The real crazy one.
Hoover. No, Hoover.
Hoover was the president. The FBI. Oh, J. Edgar Hoover. J. Edgar Hoover.
That's what I'm talking about. J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah. J. Edgar Hoover. J. Edgar Hoover was transvestite. He liked to dress in women's clothing, and he not a transvestite. He liked to dress in women's clothing. What was that called? Is that transvestite?
Yeah.
No. That's transvestite. Yeah. Anyway.
And then when we're done with that, pull up Rosemary's comment.
Wait a minute. Is Marco still in this room? Because I want to address that. Marco, what the heck is this rubbish? Please tell me you're not talking about our show right now, bro, because I'm so on read mode in a minute. And the only reason why I'm bringing you to light is because you brought something to the table that I'm going to be ready to serve.
Not only that, Marco, if you're not a Christian, don't go to a Christian church. If you're Muslim, get the fuck out. Bye. But anyway, back to Rosemary.
What is this rubbish? You came to the right page. You came to the right page, motherfucker.
Rosemary, I am not discounting molestation or sexual abuse. That's not what I mean. What I mean is I don't agree with the charges that were brought up against him based on how they did it. Therefore, I believe it should be let go. Do I know people personally that has happened to? Absolutely. But during that time and how they assessed what happened, I didn't buy it and I didn't believe it. And I stand by that. That's all.
Just like some people don't believe that Michael Jackson was a pedophile. You know, some people don't believe it. Some people do believe it. Some people believe the documentary that came out against him. Some don't. I think in that case, it is to each his own. But in legalities, he has been proven guilty. So that's why he is serving his 3 to 10 year, sentence in jail. I just thought it was great to bring light on. The Supreme Court is now saying they should not have allowed 5 women to be brought up, to use against him in this case. I just think that's, you're the Supreme Court. How do you say that you think it shouldn't have been allowed? Like, it's just, whatever. So that was it on that. I mean, let me see. Time did not change bad judgments. You're absolutely right, Rosemary. You're absolutely right, Rosemary. That woman, I'm one who doesn't believe about MJ. And you know what, Patty? It's a lot of people that don't. It's a lot of people that don't. I've talked to industry professionals who work directly with MJ and believe that they could have never done that. But also people thought the same as, should I mention his name? I should mention his name if I want to say it. People, your next door neighbor could be the sweetest person and be molesting 15 kids every day. You never know. People live double lives, all the time. Yeah. So, and I'm going to say this too. I drank my drink too fast. I poured most of this half liquor and with Coke. And on top of me being tired, I've gotten a little tipsy already. So
Marco, careful.
That's why I was like, Marco, bro, I had to catch myself for a second because the rubbish, bruh.
You get cussed out, Marco. You can just leave. If you
wave them out, Wanda. Wave them out.
Wave them out.
Wave them out.
Bye, Felicia.
Because the what I like about Marco's comment is that you actually came and sat in the room.
For real. Welcome.
So I appreciate that. You're welcome.
You can stay. You can stay.
You can stay if you want to, Marco. But just watch out because we do have a lot of folks that bring shit to the table and they will eat your ass alive without us having to say
Real, like,
nothing,
do it.
nothing,
Uh,
nothing.
we should call this show "We're with the Shit."
Oh.
Polo.
All right. So in other news, Tyler Perry, this Thanksgiving, I think this was absolutely wonderful. Tyler Perry donated about 5,000 turkeys, and he did the thing with families in Atlanta. Also, Nene Leakes was a part of this event as well. Different folks came out. Neo, a lot of the celebrities that live in Atlanta came out, and I mean they really showed their ass and gave so much support to Atlanta families that were like without. Because if you guys don't know this, there have been 250,000 deaths since COVID. And also the food lines in New York and New Jersey. Have y'all seen those posted?
Yeah, I saw
People
that.
are in, food in America.
No.
People are standing in line to be fed in America.
I don't think what's being televised right is the fact that FBA has run out for people. Mm-hmm. The EDD isn't the same. And when that $600 stopped, that stimulus for a lot of people, their money changed and how they can live and pay their bills changed.
Yeah.
And right now they're feeling it.
And it's sad, especially during the holiday season, that you have to stand in a food line to feed your family. I think that's absolutely horrible. I'll be leaving town towards the end of December, guys. So if you guys want to help me and put something together to feed some families across LA, I'll be willing to do it. I'll be willing to get some of my DWTS family to come up and get involved with it too. So y'all let me know if that's something y'all want to do. I really want to handle that before I leave town and get some turkeys and get some meals and get some things started, and we can do that within 2 weeks. Get some stuff happening.
Oh my God, that's a great idea. I wish Rosemary. I wish they could open restaurants that people could get jobs and regular people could donate time or money to help. And instead of just issuing out a blind stimulus, why not donate money to those restaurants that are doing that?
Yeah, I agree.
Allow them to operate like a nonprofit. I agree. That's a great idea.
Oh, Alicia said, that's awesome. I love celebrities who take a stand and help out. There are a lot of people hungry and homeless right now. I agree with her. It needs to be televised more. So Alicia's, you guys, that's my best friend of 20 plus years. And if y'all, I mean, we got stuff we're going to take to the grave with us. So that's one person who knows Chris. Basically, she knows Chris. She knows who I am. She operates within the spirit. We operate within the spirit of each other. We call each other best friend, soulmate, because we know each other. We know, like, especially if we're in pain or something is bothering us, we'll call each other and be like, "What's wrong with you?" It's that's my girl, y'all. That's my girl. Both of our families are from Mississippi, and it's on our mother's side. It's crazy. That's my girl. But anyway, I think it's great, and I think Janelle Monáe, she was also doing that with a lot of people in LA. She was feeding families along with Maxine Waters, and they were having drive-by food drives and, popping your trunks and loading up your trunks with food. So I think that there is funding for that in LA. And if any of our...
So many places will donate to you. My mother is Pasta Pat in Phoenix, and she literally fills up bins, those carrying bins of pasta and food, and she'll go to Ralph's and all the supermarkets, and they'll donate the pasta, donate the bread, donate the cookies. 7-Eleven will give the condiments. And put it all together, and she would take Cameron every year for Christmas and give that food out.
Yeah, so if any of you guys have any connections with that, hit us up on the Bring It to the Table forum. And let's make that happen to some families, without this season, and let's try to do that within the next 2 to 3 weeks. How about that? All right. And let's make that happen. All right. In other news, which is going to segue into one of my conversations I want to have with the ladies on here. Kelly Clarkson, she got divorced from her husband of about 8 years. This is also Reba McEntire's son. If y'all didn't know, yes. Reba McEntire was her mother-in-law. This is Reba McEntire's son. Oh, yeah.
That's deep.
So she wins the custody battle for primary custody with her children. And I have a question for the ladies who've gone through divorce or just been single parents. Would you rather have primary, or would you rather, share custody? Because why does the judge always rule in the woman's favor for the children to be with the mom? Is it because you bore them that you figure you're closer to them? Or I wonder, why is that? Why do the women always want the children with them? Is it a thing of, more money if the children stay with you? Or I've often wondered that, like, why
it's
is
not
that?
a thing of more money. I went through a divorce where I had to go through that
Okay.
with Cameron. And
With the custody.
The custody part, we did not leave to the courts. We were able to work that out ourselves. However, here's what I will say, because I know some amazing single dads.
Yeah.
But the majority, and this is just my opinion, as mothers, we don't operate with the idea of an option to take care of our children. I think when you operate.
Oh, wait a minute. That you just spoke. That's. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
I got it.
Because
I asked my mom
by any means necessary.
I asked my mama one time. I said, "Mom, why you didn't get child support?" And she was like, "I didn't need nothing from your dad. I didn't want nothing from your dad. I could do it.
It's gonna happen anyway."
Yeah.
I think that when a judge needs to get involved, it's when there is a situation where. Oh, and I still don't think then we didn't do it. We went to mediation. We handled everything ourselves. There was a situation though where I did have to pay alimony, and I was able to get out of that. But that's a different thing. I understand why people want to go crazy. Anyway,
well, you see what Wendy posted.
What?
I divorced my ex and had to set up supervised visitation, but always made sure they could have a safe relationship.
And every situation is different. Like, for instance, I never once felt like Cameron would be in an unsafe environment with his dad. However, I believe that men problem solve a different way.
Okay.
When it comes to their children. And if you believe if there is the slightest chance that you believe certain things that your children are supposed to have is an option, you might not make the right decision. I've never operated on whether or not I could or couldn't do something for Cameron. It just had to be done. Therefore, it got done.
Yeah.
Okay. And so custody, though, if there's two healthy parents, and if Cameron, I always say, like, for example, Cameron's dad wanted Cameron early. He wanted to live with him. And here was my thing on that. I never said no. I just said, if you can provide him with the lifestyle that I provide him, ensure that he's going to have his health benefits. If you can provide a better environment than me, I would have to humble myself and place him in your environment.
Is it also more of an emotional attachment that you have to your child because you did carry that child?
I didn't even go there. It is definitely an emotional attachment because when Cameron lived with his dad for 1 year, and I thought people were like, "Oh, you get a break." I was depressed and I was physically in pain every day for 365 days and cry. I physically couldn't breathe sometimes. I felt like I had failed. Really? Even though we agreed to let him go because it was his first year of high school, he wanted to take a shot at him being around, fine. But it was the most painful physically. Like, I had never felt physical pain like that to be away from him. So everybody's not like that. I don't understand women who don't have that nurturing connection to their kids, but I could never go through that again. Moms don't watch their kids. That is the boy. Patrice, let that sit up there for a minute. That shit right there. When fathers say I got a babysitter watch my kids, we don't watch our kids. They're with us because they're supposed to be with us. And if you think you can decide to be in your child's
babysitters
life,
watch kids,
yes,
not parents.
Correct. And if you feel like you can decide not to pay for braces, you can decide, I just ain't got it, I'm not gonna do it. If you can do that and contemplate that being okay, you shouldn't have your children full time because you'll make bad decisions for them. That's how I feel.
Let's see. Tiki says if the person is sane, you can co-parent. If not, you can parallel parent. Some men don't want more than 50%. Like Jean says, we don't operate as if it's an option, but some mothers should have custody, and that's a different conversation. Yeah. Shouldn't have custody, excuse me, but that's a different conversation.
And that's facts. That's facts.
Well, just in case, like Britney Spears. Britney Spears has been found mentally incompetent to take care of her children, also to take care of herself. Her father gained stewardship over her life. Like, Britney is 37, 38 years old, and her father is her guardian. Like, and Britney had to pay child support to the ex-husband to take care of her sons because of her mental stability. And in those cases, I can definitely see. In those cases, I can totally understand. Oh, I'm sorry. Rosemary said, "Oh, there you go. Let's go back to the first question about Bill Cosby. Some women no longer trust a man once they break up. Then mental emotional health takes on another topic." Okay, but let me also say this. Camille had known of Bill's
Indiscretion.
indiscrepancies, indiscretions, since the 70s, and she stayed with him. Was that a form of mental instability, or was that just I'm gonna stay for the money, or was that I know my husband, I'm just gonna stick by him?
I don't think we'll ever know that.
Yeah.
I don't think we have enough information to assess that or to pass judgment on that situation at all. I think what Patrice says though is definitely the trust factor. Oh, was that? Wait, that wasn't Patrice.
Put it back up. No, that was Rosemary.
That was Rosemary. The trust factor does change how you believe they will operate with their children, and you have to assess that properly. For example, the year that Cameron was with his dad wasn't the best year. I regret it. Not his dad's not a bad dad.
Was it good? Was it good for him?
No, but it taught him a hard lesson. You understand? Okay. It wasn't a positive lesson. So we agreed that, and he and I came up with this process. He would get Cameron for Christmas and get Cameron for the summer. And if you understand anything about parenting, those are just fun times. So from 7 years old all the way up to 15 years old, it was only fun times with dad. It wasn't discipline and every day and regiment. And the regiment he created with me didn't fit into his dad's life. So it created conflict. How we communicate created conflict. So it was a good lesson for both of them.
Was it conflict because you had your own parenting style and he had his own parenting style, and that you wanted him to comply with what you thought was the better parenting situation?
I actually didn't. I was okay with how he was because it fit his lifestyle until I learned what Cameron didn't share with me, I guess, when he would go there.
Oh, okay.
And you got to understand, money dictates a lot. Let's just keep it real. If you have more money in a situation, how you operate in your household is different.
I want you to bring back up what Rosemary said, Wendy, because I want you to see that, Jean.
I agree with that. But you know what, though? Something we did when he came back from his dad is we allowed him to talk to someone. We allowed him to talk to someone.
And then I want you to bring up what Byron said, too. Yeah.
For about 6 months, because I think that there was things that he didn't feel comfortable sharing, because I never wanted him to feel like he had to choose the one parent over the other. Changed his life, absolutely.
So do you think that
something we did when he came back from his dad is we
Thank you, Byron. We appreciate it. It was a bit of trauma for him.
I think there was. Turn that off,
Byron. If you don't mute your damn computer.
I told her 2 minutes and she put me right.
Wow, hell. Do you think it was traumatic for him because he was outside of that space, that safe space of what you provided? Yeah,
absolutely. It was definitely traumatic, but necessary. And the reason why it was necessary is there are certain things you can't explain to your children until they go through it. I could tell him till I'm blue in the face, if you go here and life is going to be like this, and that. He wasn't hearing me. Because one thing I never did was say anything bad about his dad to him. I could have, but never did. I always wanted him to assess that on his own. And the problem with that is when you go for fun time for Christmas and fun time for the summer, everything's fun games. You don't know what it's like every day when that person has their ups and their downs. So I think the positive thing that came out of it was he came back more appreciative of me and the life here than anything.
Well, let me tell you, I'm appreciative of my mother for not allowing me to be around my father in my formative years, because how my other brothers and sisters turned out, I am totally blessed. Not saying that the blessings didn't flow with them, because, you know, God looks and he loves everybody, but the mental angst that I would have had living with that man or being around that man and that of my father's side of the family would have, I don't think that you guys would have had the same CJ you had before you now. And
how you develop them is different.
You know, again, my mother, she never spoke bad about him. She wanted me to make my own assessment of my father. And when I did, it was like, oh, okay. It kind of dates back to what I talked about my father previously. But you know, and I now know that it was the best decision for me, that she did not need anything from him, and she didn't want anything from him, and it was in good. I think she did good on that. I really do. I think she did good on that.
When Cameron came back, though, like I used to struggle with his dad's contribution to Cameron financially, right?
Did he come back different though? Did he come back different?
Oh, wait a minute. Not only did he came back different, but his dad made sure after he was 16 years old to send me money every month with a thank you. Because he really genuinely in his head thought that any money he sent me was contributing to my lifestyle. And quiet as kept, the money you sent me, we wiped our ass with. We bought toilet paper.
You know, but no, that's a good thing, Gene. Men think that. Men think that they are paying for your Gucci bag. They are paying for your, you know, Range Rover. Men really think that. They don't really assess how much, and I know I'm using that word a lot today. They just don't assess how much money goes into a child.
Like, for example, let me give you an example. The money he sent towards me paid for Cameron's Uber each month. That didn't pay for his food, his clothes. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not, please know this. I've never put a dollar amount on what he should send. I always felt like he should send what he could afford, and that was okay with me. Because it's not my fault that I can afford more and he can't. Let's do there. Your financial situation is your business.
I agree, T. Yeah.
I do expect though you to pay what you can within your means, and you'll never have a question about that from me. But it took for Cameron to come live with him to realize how the fuck were y'all could survive off of that money I was sending you. We weren't. I was gonna get it done anyway. Right? So anything you sent me went towards him. I didn't need your shit, but it was good. It was good to help me out with it because that's your child and you're supposed to. But when I tell you from that point on, from 16 to 18, he didn't miss a beat. Maybe one or two. And he always sent a thank you for all that you do, because that was the hardest year of his dad's life too. The other lesson that came to me was my mom spent a lot of time away from me. And so, and I used to get mad about it. That year taught me that was the strongest woman on the fucking planet, because I felt like I was going to physically die if I went one more day without him.
Wow.
So it let me know that the things that she was going through, because my mom, I know she loves me and it's attached to me. The fact that she had to spend time away from me, I knew that hurt her. And the fact that she made it through that, because I literally thought I should take my life. Like, I didn't want to be without Cameron.
Oh,
that's how bad. I've never told that to anybody. That's how bad.
You told me. I saw it.
I did tell you. I was like, I can't function. I don't know how people stay away from their kids. I don't get it.
So Byron, as a person also who's a single dad, how is it raising another male child? And
you know what? It's
because let me tell you this. Before you answer that, let me tell you this. We look up to our fathers. We look up to our fathers. Our fathers, regardless of how they were in our lives, are our superheroes. We want to know if we look like them. We want to know if we act like them. We find our identity as men in our fathers. And when we don't have that, even though we have strong mothers, even though we have strong whoever, it's a need for our masculine man validation. Because, you know, as men, as a man, we take our man walks. You know, we have our moments where we have to be away from everybody. It's kind of like back in the day when the Africans would let their children out into the field and fend for their own for 2 weeks, and who would come back. That's when you got your warrior status. In modern times, we still do that. At 21, I had my man walk. I separated from my mom, you know, came out to California, and I did my thing. You know what I'm saying? So I had my man walk. And when we don't have that, or we don't see that in our father figure, or, you know, mentors, it tears us down, and it takes us longer to develop that maturity. And so when I see good men, you know, raising children separate from the mothers, I always question, like, how does that, because I never had it, and I always wonder, like, how does that work? How does that child be affected, or how does that affect the man who's raising that child? So those are some of the things that I want to hear from you on, Byron.
My dynamic is
amazing dad, by the way. He's an amazing,
Mhm.
phenomenal dad.
He's a good dude. I mean, period. So, yeah.
You know, I think as a parent, you know, and thank you, Jay. But you being a parent and me being a parent, I think more than anything else, I know more than anything else that we never believe we have done all that we could do, and it haunts us. I mean, I get a chill even thinking about it. It haunts us that it's like, what else? What can I change now? What do I need to change now? Who can I become? Because they're developing a personality in the growth. You know, they're going through so many changes as a young man. Emotionally, Cameron was fully expressed up until.
Wait a minute, hold on. His son's
I was just going to give that disclaimer too. They have 2 children named Cameron. They did not have a child named Cameron.
Mine is Cameron with the C. His is Cameron with the K.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we gotta get that straight.
We gotta explain that. I wasn't talking about him.
Well, look at what Tanya said. Tanya said, "Imagine not being able to identify with either parent."
Yeah. It was perfect up until a point, because you never know what's going to change the trajectory of their thought process.
Yeah.
So you're doing the best you can up until a point, and you feel like you're doing all that you should do and everything's going right, and then all of a sudden they shift, and then you have to change. And if you don't shift and change with them, it takes on another chapter in your life.
Because you know what I would think, Byron, because you influence so many individuals, male and female, do you apply those same tactics to your child? Is it different?
I do my best. Like I said, I do my best.
Okay.
You've heard the old cliche, it's easier to give somebody else advice than to take your own.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's easier to coach and raise objectively and help somebody else with their circumstances as it is to being able to deal with your own. And so in the evolution of having Cameron is so much like me in being an introvert, but nobody would ever believe today that I'm actually shy and that I was an introvert for the majority of my life. You know, I mean, I had dual personalities. I was an introvert growing up, and then when I finally got a chance to
when you finally showed your penis, you were just like, yay.
Whip it out. Who big is this?
Hey, my name is not Jamie Foxx. When I first
We didn't say that, Jamie. We was just playing him.
We were just playing Jamie. No, I'm not. I was sitting next to him. But anyway, for me, it was just one of those things in the
Just clutch my pearls.
Woo! Anyway,
I just had to be around him, so I can't even laugh at that joke.
The evolution of a child and really Cameron is like, what I'm finding is when I say he's just like me, when he's gaming and when he's talking to his friends and he's talking to his community, and that's why I say all the time, things are caught, not taught. Mm-hmm. He has caught my voice. It shocked me on my birthday about 5 years ago. Jay was there and a couple other people when he actually stepped up and talked about me. And I mean, it was better than everybody who was up to 70, 80 years old. And we're like, hold up. It's like, and he's been around me, so he knows how to voice. But around me, he never voices himself. Around my family, I never really voiced myself. It was suppressed for whatever reasons of the hierarchy. But then if you put me outside of that and I got a chance to lash out and finally let my personality out, everything that my father
just like that. Your Cameron, like for example, he is not afraid to express himself through dance. He is confident. He will throw it out there. What? He's an amazing dancer.
Your son, so I don't. Yeah.
Oh, we gonna change that.
We gotta change. Like he'll come across as quiet and introvert. You know, like a what do you say, introvert? But then the music comes on, and he is like the twins, the Beyonce's twins.
Oh,
that
twins. Yeah, I love that. I love it.
He's a beast. He is a beast.
I love it.
So I stand in the space of allowing him to grow as much as I can allow him, you know, so long as I'm curving and I'm turning, and he's such a, I mean, he's such a perfect when it comes to humility and respect. He's a perfect child. He is the most humble, serving. Even since he was a child, I mean, since he was like, in kindergarten, he was the teachers. His one thing is he was always serving. He was always
raising. Let me ask you both: raising kids. Do you forget your childhood on how you were always watching and how you were always assessing and how you were always
wearing? I haven't grown up yet.
He's coming round the track. He's coming like a bolt of lightning, never coming back. If that's just waiting just for him. Go Speed Racer, go. The only reason why I know that show, y'all, don't be talking about I'm old. My mama, that was her favorite cartoon as a kid.
Ours too. I don't forget that. I think
here comes Speed Racer. He's a demon on wheels.
This is a tough topic. This is a deep topic because it's
no crying on it. Yeah,
it's so deep. I think your childhood really dictates the kind of childhood you create for your children. I think Rosemary hit it on the nail where she said, we won't know how they really respond until they become parents, and she's right.
Do you look at what you kept in as a child is now birthed through your child? What those quiet traits that you didn't want people to see, or those secretive things are now being present in your child? Do you see that? Because the old wives' tale is those things you keep to yourself, they're going to be present in your child. That's the old wives' tale.
Those are the things that I probably harped on the most with him.
And you're looking at if you can, a bipolar, you're looking at a polarized, you're looking at two people that have the same DNA.
Yeah.
As far as strength, core, and foundation, that operate on two opposite polar sides of the world. Yeah. Her Cameron is very expressive. And he caught that from her.
Yeah.
Right? So my Cameron is very quiet. He got that from his mama.
Okay.
Because she was one who would just hold things in until she exploded.
But because he shares your DNA,
his thinking is like
where does that come? Okay.
His calibrated and his being able to think and pursue, and his drive and to be successful. When he was playing games, I was like, I had to use gaming. Now he's buying a professional gaming team. So I had to use, when he first was gaming and he was having problems in school, I was like, and he would get real frustrated with his schooling. I was like, look at what you do when you play your games. You get frustrated, but you stay with it, don't you? So I had to use that as a lesson, you don't just throw in the towel. When you want to win something, you stick with it no matter how frustrating, and you figured it out. You figured out how to win. I need you to be able to apply that in everything in your life.
And it's funny what he just said is, Cameron's expressive like me. He is, one thing about him, he is very secure. Like, he doesn't seek security outside.
Let me tell you, when I've been around your son, he owns who he is.
But his thinking is like his dad.
Whatever. Oh, really?
And then that's what they have in common. Both of the Camerons have that in common. Both of them have that in common. They are both, they own their space.
And I have to tell
just what T said. When you see things in your children that remind you of yourselves, does it scare you? Or
yes.
Does it?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Because Cameron shares both me and his dad's temper.
Yeah.
Which is a Molotov cocktail.
Okay.
Completely. Right? But there are certain things that I see in him, like, thank God he got that from me. And there's certain things I see in him, like, oh, okay.
And as I see my family, it's like it's the same thing. It's like I can see his mother in him. I can see.
Okay.
Like right now, what he's turning into as he's 21, turning 22 in a month.
Yeah.
What he's turned into right now is he's adapted. Before he just have a straight face, right? Still waters run deep. Right now, he's adopting my facial expressions, where he says more with his face than he does with his mouth. And that scares the shit out of me. Because he'll just give a look. It's like, he's still going to be respectful, but it's just like, I'll go in and talk to him or go in his room. It's just one of them looks like, why you fucking with me?
Our sons do know each other.
You know we are our parents times two.
Oh,
because my mother is a pistol, but my sister and I'm the more silenced, deadly of my mom. My sister is the one that'll cut you in your face, like gun, done. And we are definitely Hazel's children. We and
Yeah.
so
And I can also say this: there's a major difference of a child growing up as a single child versus growing up with a family environment.
It is.
They take on a whole nother mindset. I see it in Eric underneath Machancy. I see it underneath Cameron, underneath Jay. These children, they go into a whole nother, they have created their own worlds in their head
yeah.
to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And I think it's impactful. Like, for example, I was raised in a 2-parent household until I was about 7 or 8 years old.
Mhm.
So my memories of that don't even match the life that came afterwards. It's very weird. It was a perfect life. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. She was a model. My dad was an actor, right?
Patrice, I do the same thing.
What you say? Open my mouth. My mouth goes out all the time.
Patrice
So
does me all the time to catch myself at times.
I think my traumatic transition was not having that anymore and having to learn a new way to live, right? Cameron's transition happened when he was 7.
I was just about to say, for young men, it generally happens at 7, 13, 16, 17, and then again at 21, 22, and then again between 26, 28. You'll see major shifts.
Yeah.
And we did at those age groups.
I can attest to that, because at 7 years old, I distinctly remember my mom saying, "You are acting just like your dad."
Yeah.
Had never been around this man, had never known this man. And she's like, "Oh, you acting just like your dad." And I remember her eyes being like, ooh, and she saw
and Cameron does stuff till this day like that. And he'll get mad at his dad for moving a certain way. And I have to say, hold on, bro. You just did that to him. You do it too. He does that because you do that. How dare you get mad at him and you don't want anybody to say anything to you? I have to constantly say that. But I will say,
the reason. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Even though I deem myself a single mom, Robin has been in Cameron's life since he was really 8.
Yeah.
Right. That transition, because I didn't allow them to meet the first year. So he's always had both of us in the house, but his dad has also been very involved.
Right. And that was, and my role shifted as Cameron grew up because he was with his mom most of the time. You'll find that this is what I found, and that is when it comes to a boy specifically, the foundation comes from the mom, the instinct comes from the father.
It does.
Let me ask this. So when he wasn't with you, as a mother would miss their child, as Jean described before, did you miss him? Did you constantly have him on your mind, and wonder where he was, what he was doing? Was there that type of connection?
I was always connected to Cam.
Okay.
I was always physically, one way or another, involved in his life.
I want to know, do fathers have that same?
I do. Not all fathers do. Some are,
I'm gonna listen. The connection, the difference is a father can say, "I know he's safe with his mom, so I can focus on this."
Okay.
A mother will say, "He's with his dad. I can't focus on this unless I know he's safe."
Right.
You understand?
Because that's what my sister and her ex-husband and her they had a love child. The child that happens. Oops.
Right.
So, but after their divorce, when my nephew goes with his father, my sister's gotten better, but she would always every 3 hours. What you doing? How you doing? You okay? What's going on?
Mothers are like,
did you eat today?
Did you eat? What
did you drink water today? Did you wash your ass? Because boys don't want to wash their ass and brush their teeth. And you create a regimen for them to do that, and then they go to dad's house and you got to reprogram it. So I don't understand.
As a father, I think more than anything else,
I agree, Rosemary.
I just wanted to know that he was secure. If he was with his mom, I knew, just like her sperm donor knew that if her Cameron was with her, he was secure. If he's secure, I'm going on about my business. I'm gonna stay in touch with her communication. Now, what's interesting is, as he hit his teens and in the evolution of the times we live in right now, I'm scared, and I'm. It's almost like I'm a mother to know where he is and what he's doing. Fortunately, he's. Thank
you, Dad, for me. I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that because I've grown up with nothing but women all my life. Growing up, and the uncles were there, and great. Right. I needed to hear a dad say, at a certain point in life, it kicks in.
It does kick
It
in
kick in. And I think it does for all. Now, some of y'all can ignore that shit, but I think it does kick in. It's like, oh shit,
heavily.
my son, because then you start thinking about your mortality, and you start thinking
Exactly.
about, wait a minute, another male child is on this earth. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. Yeah.
I'm very protective and very concerned. Fortunately, because of the foundation.
13, 180, and 6'2". Damn, Patrice.
What Patrice is saying is what we go through as women, where we're like, they need that man right now.
Right,
and
exactly.
Try to send them to that. And I'm just going to say that's not always the best thing for them. Okay. That's not always the best thing for them just because they're a man. Because if you raise them under our lifestyle is so different that even his dad couldn't comprehend our lifestyle. You know what I mean?
But you know what, Gene, before you continue with that, I do want to let Byron finish. I apologize for cutting you off. Okay. You were saying that in that time you were thinking, and
the foundation of who he has become. Like right now, I'm so concerned with the way the world is. Mm-hmm. But what I was sharing is that because the foundation was so solid with Jay, this foundation was so solid with Belinda that it actually saves me so much work right now. In the way, the reason why, well, there's a whole lot of reasons why you aren't with somebody, but the greater reason on my end, because there's always three sides to the story, but the greater reason on my side is there was a value system, that was not equally yoked.
Okay.
Right.
Understood.
And in that value system, but the moral side of it and the foundations and the principles, I mean, B is still to this day one of my best friends. She just cooked dinner for my entire family, and people wouldn't understand that. Like, we asked a question, I think a couple of weeks ago, can you still be, good friends with your ex? I actually could not be with her as a woman, but we were better as friends. Like right now, she would be one of the top 5 people I call if shit blew up. Mm-hmm. I know I can count on her for anything without question as a friend, not as somebody that is a lover or an interest, or do you want to get back with your ex? There's none of that in between the two of us. We've done things, gone on vacations, we've met on places with other couples, and we've been best friends with no intimacy, no interest, no wanting to. Mm-hmm. We could go right now to the moon and share a room, and we're just going to respect each other's space.
Yeah.
And just enjoy that space. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You've been able to do that over 20 years. Actually, Cameron's 21. So after, my commitment when he was born was no other man was going to raise my child. Mm-hmm. That's just me. But that came from a foundation. My father's like, if you aren't going to sit up there and be able to, take care of a child, you shouldn't have laid down with the trick in the first place.
Right.
So that's one of my greatest beefs, especially as a Black man, of men that don't take responsibility for their children. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That I don't understand. I don't want to understand that. I'm not trying to understand that. You made a mistake, or however it came. I don't believe God makes any mistakes, but however it happened, you made the mistake in who you chose to be a soulmate for the rest of your life, but you still did the deed. You got to be responsible for what you did. Just like if you break the law, you got to go pay for that for breaking the law. You do something, you lay down with somebody, you have a child. Do not punish that child because of, I've seen so many people, which I love about Jay and the rest of the people that surround me, where people have held their child hostage. Yeah. The fight between the two of them. Like, for example, I can't understand people saying, well, you got him on Wednesday and I got him on Tuesday. That never happened.
Can we, I want to bring, I didn't discuss this with y'all. I didn't. But while we're on the subject, because I have somebody who
I didn't discuss it. I got peach either.
Okay, look, she was drinking peach earlier. Can I bring Tanya on? Can I bring Tanya on to talk about this as well, y'all?
By all means.
Okay, I'm gonna send Tanya. I'm gonna send you the link because Tanya has also a good insight to this as well, and I really want to bring her on because I think that I think that go ahead, Gene. Go ahead, Gene.
While you bring her on, I wanted to say, like, when you're in a 2-parent household, you guys create a foundation together. You end up going through both of your point of views and creating one. When that household separates, that person's mind and foundation that they had in their head becomes theirs, and yours becomes yours. And I'm gonna give you an example. back in the day when we were super busy with the work that we did with Byron and just corporate life was busy for me. Therefore, I could call Cameron and say, he'd pick up the phone and I say, make sure the dishes and stuff are clean. I'll see you later. Bye. Right? It would be that quick kind of communication. When Cameron
because he knew his mom. He knew how you guys operated. Yeah.
Correct. So when he got with his dad and his dad called him and was like, hey, make sure the kitchen clean before you get home. He was like, all right, bye. Hung up. His dad was felt Cameron was being disrespectful because he felt he should have spent more time on the phone with him and not hung up so fast. And he thought Cameron was doing it to be smart. And I had explained to him, I said, no, I'm talking to him 2-3 times out of the day. We have short conversations because I'm in between meetings. He's used to that with me. And his dad was like, well, I just felt like he hung up on me. No, he didn't hang up on you.
Yeah.
He's used to a fast-paced environment.
We have time.
Hey, baby, how you doing? Before you say that, and I don't have time to go into both of you guys because you guys are, and this is touching because I know everybody. Not everybody, but the majority of the people. Like Patricia is a single mom, story in itself. Dottie is a single mom with like 3 kids, crazy story. Leland actually hit a point and a nerve that really hit me home. What's up, fam? It says in best case scenarios, connections in my opinion is stronger with the mother because that 9-month bond that's created between the mother and child is something most men don't even understand.
Absolutely.
And can't understand. It's a different kind of bond between a mother and a child. We as dads don't get much credit. And this is coming, from a man that was raised from his oldest daughter. Who raised his
why don't we have Leland come on too? We need to have Leland come on this episode as well.
I'll send him the link right now.
Send him the link too.
Because go ahead. Every time you start, I'll send Leland the link.
Yeah, because and Tanya, I wanted to bring you on because you did have parents, who succumbed to drugs and things like that, and then you had successful adoptive parents. So I want you to help us understand how that relationship is between the biological parents and the adoptive parents, and what you got from both, and how did it shape you having 2 sets of parents, basically?
Well, for me, I put in the chat earlier that the best thing that happened to me was being put in a foster home.
Okay.
And for some people, they don't understand that because they were like, oh no, you can't be better than living with either both parents or one of your parents. But for me, being abused and being abused by the person that's supposed to love you the most because they nurtured you for 9 months, it definitely changed your perspective. Even when I had my first child, I was like, I worked hard not to be like her, right? Because there was anger, there was abuse. And so I literally, unlike other people, had to work harder not to repeat that part because it was such an intricate part of my life until I became put in a foster home.
Okay.
Now, when I got placed in a foster home, my birth mom, she just in her own way, a mother in the 70s, 18 years old, was on drugs, had me, and then despised me because what I represented. I was my father who had left her while she was pregnant. So it's like Jay says, like when you have that child, you have a bond that is supposed to be unbreakable. When you have instances that shake that, so drugs and alcohol, it becomes a different dynamic. So being placed in a foster home was the best thing for me because I was able to see love, to see what that meant, because I thought love was getting beat. I thought love, I was homeless, molested during that time. So those are all the things that represented love to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know love. Like I saw Byron talk about his son and I just teared up because that's how I feel about my children. But my birth mom didn't feel that way about me.
Right.
So when Jay said, like, I don't understand how women have these kids and don't have that, I understand it, but then I never received that in return. So
does that ever heal?
It's tough. I tell you that I work, my oldest is 30, my youngest is 12, my little prince. And even to this day, I'll be 50. To this day, I still work hard not to represent anger in the way that it was shown to me.
Wow.
So I work hard I have to show love in my way. I'm still mama. I'm still no nonsense. I'm none of that. Right. But my kids have learned that they have a voice They're going to stay respectful. And then after you say what you need to say, you can be mad, angry, whatever. You come give me a kiss and a hug. Let's go get something to eat. Because as I grew up, it was you stay mad and angry for weeks, months. Hell, my birth mom was angry until she died, you know? So I work hard. So those relationships I have that are part of my life are genuine relationships. When I text you and tell you, CJ, I love you, that's a genuine love.
Yeah.
I don't do fake and phony. I don't have a big circle because of those relationships of my foster mom. She taught me what it means to love. And to this day, I tell people all the time, I've never referred to her as my foster mom until I started writing my books.
Yeah.
So people think that she's my mama, which she is my mother.
That's your mama. Yeah.
That's my mama.
Yeah.
And so, and to Byron's point of saying that when he was able to feel that motherly side for his son, mothers who have gone through traumatic experiences, my daughter's 30, she lives in Bakersfield. I text her, you better let me know you made it home. She's grown and on her own, but I still have that connection where I have that with my children, but I didn't get that. I didn't learn that from my parents.
Let me ask both you and Jean something. Do you find yourself pouring more into the children of what you didn't have? Because I sometimes see that as a mistake with parents trying to do that to their kids.
I'll say
so because
yes,
it sounds like
it is a mistake to go too far. Something that Tanya said to me that just gave me the biggest epiphany. I couldn't figure out why I was in so much pain for a year, right? I just thought it was my connection, but I realized what you said is my mom spent I could go a year sometimes without talking to my mom. Or there was times where I was always with my grandmother, always with somebody else. And I promised myself I would never do that with Cameron. So when he went to go live with his dad, even though I agreed to it, it wasn't forced. It felt forced. It felt like I repeated something that was done to me. So I couldn't handle it.
Totally.
Wendy, mute Leland for right now. Just mute him for right now. And Leland, when you got it, give us a thumbs up. Because we're getting a lot of back things from him. Thank you. Go ahead, Tanya.
I can tell you that for me, because I have to work on a lot of things, being in a foster home, being molested, being homeless, there's a lot of things that I have to work on that I only have split seconds to make those decisions to be a parent.
Okay.
So I don't overcompensate, but I do compensate enough for them to understand. My kids had to learn about my story when they were young. So my son, who is 12 now, had to learn 3 years ago that his mother was homeless and in a foster home. So that gave us an emotional bridge, unlike anything else. I know that moment allowed him to see his mother, because he thinks I'm a superhero. He just thinks. And we met TJ. It was just like, Mom, you can do no wrong until I do something to him that he doesn't like.
Yeah.
But I have to work hard at it.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Gene?
Do you find yourself also, Byron, doing that compensating for what? Yeah.
I think one of the greatest challenges in what we're dealing with, and which may not be applicable to a lot of people around here, I think there's so many people because of the dysfunction of families today being raised by a single child. It's almost, you can't say it's abnormal to be raised in a single parent home when over 65-70% of children today are being raised. It's now normal to be raised. And there's pros and cons to it, to everything, because what was abnormal now becomes normal. Before, we used to actually pick up the phone and wait for somebody to call us, leave a message on an answering machine, and not get a call for 24 hours later, and it will be normal. Today, if you text somebody and they don't text you back in less than 20 minutes, 5 minutes, it's like, what the hell?
You figure like, what's going on? Why you ain't calling me? Yeah.
But when we're dealing with this package right here, so our audience is so diverse. What you're looking at in this conversation is the dysfunction of the Black family.
Yeah.
That missed having we know the adage, we know the colonization of how things happen, right? So we're now dealing with, it takes a village to raise a child, where you have a single mom that is raising a child.
Do you think slave owners embedded that mentality in our heads because there was a separation thing going
Oh,
on.
that goes all the way back to ripping.
With the mothers being ripping the child and the father being sold.
We don't even go there right now. We don't even go there. We can go there next week because that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, because I'm thinking what trickles down. People talking about breaking family curses. I'm like, how far back do you want to go?
But you know what? I had to address a tough thing I had to address with Cameron was Cameron doesn't know the mom I knew. For instance, my mom did.
That was my next question for Eugene. Yeah.
And so like he was 7, 8 years old. She had overcome her addiction and was a new person. She was the best grandmother he could have ever asked for. I'm just going to say that.
Did that make you envious at all?
No.
Okay.
I was grateful that she could recreate the situation and participate and get a second chance.
Oh, good.
And
the struggle was Cameron couldn't understand the disconnect between she and I.
Ah, okay.
And I want to talk about that. I want to hit that, but I want Leland to come in.
Yes, Leland. Yes.
Share your perspective on it, El. El is down there in Virginia. We don't know.
We can't hear you. We can see you.
Can y'all hear me?
It's a little
Leland, I think you're a little. The connection, Leland. They in Virginia. They ain't trying to let you be great, Leland.
What I'm getting back is a lot of. Huh?
Leland. We don't have you, man. We don't have you.
We can't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Leland, I want Leland to come back. Leland got to come back. Come on in the room.
Can I say this too really quick too? What a lot of people don't realize is that when you have any type of experience in your life like that and being a parent, you got to do the work. I've gone to counseling. I've made sure my mate has seen the work of what counseling can do. I gravitate towards people who have had successful careers and have kind of gone through the same thing I've gone through, because I don't feel embarrassed about anything. I mean,
you should not.
I remember I went to Hamburger University, y'all. Look, I done been through a whole lot in my life. And I remember when I was there, Les Brown was there and he was talking to a group. We had a Black managers meeting at Hamburger University. And I never forget, he said, you can stop you, but don't allow anybody else to stop you. Yeah. And let me tell you, CJ, you know all the projects I have going on, and my heart, my love. Yes, I love cutting hair. I enjoy that. But people say, Tanya, what do you do? And I tell them, I transform people from the inside out and the outside in, because we can have conversations and we can be real about I'm not perfect, but there's things that I want to know and learn. I'm going to ask, but my heart is pure, and the people I surround myself with is pure. And my kids, they just like me. They see you coming a mile away. They're like, "Ooh, mama, I don't like that person. That person's not good." You know what I mean? I'm sure Byron with the same thing with you, with your son. He know when that energy.
Oh, he will shut down in a second if and he was actually asked one time. Tanya, it's funny that you said that. I don't know if it was Erica Mishancy or somebody had asked him. I can't remember who it was, and they asked him, "It's like, why don't you engage?" He said, "I don't engage in stupid conversations."
Hello.
You cannot reach him at the aptitude of his thinking. He will look at you, and he is mass. He gotten that from me. He'll be interested in, like, he's so waiting for you to finish your conversation. And Jay will tell you, I'm a master at that, of being,
Yeah, that's me. CJ went, and I share this experience because CJ happened. I told him, he came to see me. I said, the energy here is terrible. I said, I don't think I'm gonna be here long. CJ walked into the salon where I was at, and he was like, "Ooh, did you do the sage?" I said, "I thought it was just
me." You know, the word for the day for the last 2 days, it has been coming up in all of my spaces, Tanya. And I was sharing with somebody else. I was actually mentoring a young lady, and she was just like, she was sharing all this stuff, yada yada. And I said, "What did you just say that you know is the key word for that? I mean, please sum it all up in one word." And it's really discernment.
Yes.
That's the word. That is the word for the week.
Took the breath out. The one I would just hold, that last one I was
That is the word for the week. That's the word for the week. It's discerning.
And Latanya, Lakeisha Red said, I so can relate to being in a foster home and dealing with a mother in drug abuse and molestation and wondering why your mother doesn't care for you as much as her habit. That last question used to be mine for years.
You know what? I come to grips with understanding this. And this is not giving her an excuse. At the time and the place and the space that she was in, she did the best that she was equipped to do. And I had to come to a reality of stop blaming her. Because see, I could have stayed in victim mode. Exactly. But I tell people this all the time, and I don't say anything to impress anyone, but to impress upon people. I built 3 6-figure businesses.
Yes, you
all
did.
By myself. I couldn't have done that hanging on to hate and anger and
opened a Black Beauty Supply during COVID, y'all. During COVID.
Jamila, she sounds so Matrix.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's the same language, I'm telling you.
That's crazy.
I've been wanting to get you and Byron together for the longest, Tanya. I've been wanting to just, you know, have, because, and also, Gene, because your stories are so similar to each other, I wanted, you know, Tanya to just come on and discuss. And I've just always, you know, felt like with this topic, because I didn't have any men around me to give their side of when the child is not around. Like, what do they feel? You know, it's always, because I've always been surrounded by women and seeing so many single women in my family. I'm like, does the man feel the same abandonment, or does the man feel that same thing?
That's a segue. That's a segue for Leland to come in, right?
Come on, Leland. Now you're clear. You're good. Virginia is welcoming you now. They got you right now. They got you right. Come on, Leland.
I don't know what's happening with my internet connection. I don't know.
Well,
it was on my phone, but I'm in here now.
What's up, big brother?
Okay. How's everybody doing? I'm glad
we're doing good.
Guys, like kind of face to face, kind
of
to say hi. You know, I come in here and listen to you guys all the time. Talk.
I thank you. Yeah.
I'm with y'all. So what was the question that y'all?
So the question was, do men? So the question was, do men still feel the same abandonment that women feel, like as if when the judges give total parental everything to the mother? Does the men feel left out? Does the men still want that same attachment to the children, or do they feel that same attachment to the children? When the judge gives full paternity to the parent, I mean to the mother. So do the men feel that same abandonment that women feel?
Same.
Yeah.
That. Because you talking
Virginia.
To a man, I raised my oldest daughter by myself. So
okay.
You know, and this, I did that because of the attachment I had to my child.
Okay.
So I think a man can, but I still don't think it's a much in the best case scenarios. I don't think it's ever going to be as strong and as powerful as a woman.
Because she carried the child.
Because of the 9 months of carrying that child.
Well, you know, when a mother has a child in her womb that long, she's carrying and the child, it's a bond that we can never understand. Men don't do it. And the whole time, the woman is getting stronger and stronger connected with this child. It's just like in the wild, you know how lions are ferocious. They the ones that protect the whole pride pretty much. When children are around, it's not the male, it's the female that's coming for you. It's not the male that's coming for you. It's the mama. And even with, you know, black mamas today, it's the mama that's coming for you too.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it hurts so much.
They don't have no songs about us.
Right.
So just so we can hear you clearly, can you bring the mic a little bit closer to you? Because we're still feeling like you're far away.
How's that? Is that better?
There you go. Okay. So raising your child by yourself, what were the challenges as a man raising a female?
Oh, there was a lot.
Okay.
Because I was single too, so you know there was a dynamic there. Yeah, I didn't have my parents around to help me. I didn't have my mom there to help me. I didn't have no sisters, cousins, brothers, nieces.
That's important because you know most women have their mothers helping
no village.
them out. Yeah.
He had no village.
No village. Yeah. Oh damn! No, come on. Come on, Leland. Come on, Leland. Come on. Okay, you're back. You're back.
Yeah, I didn't have, you know, so if I was into a woman, I had to be careful about introducing that woman to my daughter, or if I even did at all, because I had, you know, all the dynamics came into play as how long am I going to know this girl? Am I serious about her enough to have her around my daughter? But at the same time, I needed a woman to help me. You know what I mean? Because a female child absolutely needs to have that energy. Otherwise, she just grow up like both of my daughters are so independent because of me. Like they're mad independent. You know, they got a very strong male influence to how they look at what's going on in the world, which is probably a good thing. It's saving them, you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that, so I had a lady who would help me babysit. Her name was Miss Liza, and she was a Jamaican lady. And it was her that really helped me more than any other woman at the time when I was raising my child. If I didn't have that woman there to help me nurture my situation, it wouldn't have been as good, for sure.
Wow.
It's difficult to
You know,
raise a female child as a
Leland-
man by yourself.
Leland said something that was so important too about even me when I got married. I've been married twice, and my first husband and I were 14 years in, but I didn't introduce my children, my two girls, to any man until I was feeling like I wanted him to put a ring on the finger. It wasn't him wanting to put a ring on the finger, but it was me saying that you are worthy of not only putting a ring on my finger, but being around my children, because their dad was active, but he had that option of being there or not. I didn't have that option. And
Okay. Yeah.
and because I was raised in a foster home, you wasn't just coming up in there. You know,
Right.
it was a whole nother set of protection rules for me and my children, and being molested on top of that, and being homeless on top of that. Bruh, let me tell you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's-
Cameron didn't meet Robin for a whole year,
Wow.
and Cameron's 19 now, and all he knows is Robin. I would have never introduced anyone I was just dating or seeing randomly.
So that's a duality. That's a duality.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you the duality is one, it's a female perspective to protect, and like Jay just said, to introduce a man. It's a whole different perspective of Leland raising a woman, or raising a young lady, a girl to a young lady to a woman, versus a man. Whereas I protected my son when I was young, when he was young. I'm sorry, when I was young too. When he was young, as he came into his teens, every woman, low fruit or high fruit, I made sure he knows about. He knows about everything right now.
Yeah.
And I then have a conversation with him as to who this person is, so that he understands the dynamic of a man finding a soulmate. And because he has a different soul, there's some men that grow up and they have a player card until they find a soulmate. There's some people that never give up that player card. There's some people that never wear a player, and we're built for long-term relationships.
So then, Leland, were you dating to find a mother for your daughter, or were you dating to find your soulmate?
I was dating for me, not for her.
Okay.
Big brother.
Let's get this straight.
It's a valid question.
CJ, just so you're clear, this is Byron Nelson on steroids. This is my little big brother.
You don't see all that swag.
Question.
You don't see all that swag in Leland. Look, I don't know how long ago this was.
one of my
Wait a minute, because shit, Leland could have been like, well, if Leland is like Byron, Leland could have been like, shit, I needed somebody for this daughter so I can go do my thing. You know what I'm saying? If she can cook and she look good, that's a bonus. But I needed somebody for this.
Look, I had to drink on that one, Leland, because if you want
let me share with you. There's I mean, Leland is an anomaly, as I am. His soul is so deep. He is such a law of attraction. He's somebody, and I've never even said this. It's just how we bonded. We've known each other for decades. But we attract each other. We could talk every day for like a year and not talk for 10. And our souls are so connected because of the depth of where we come from, that we're transparent and giving you a choice. We will tell you up front.
So how many women y'all shared?
No, that.
You weren't supposed to read that deep.
There's 8 billion people on the planet.
You know, I'm a Cancer and I'm an empath.
There's
what did I get wrong?
There's 8 billion people on the planet.
Look,
that hurt.
You missing the damn
Y'all gotta
point.
stop. Y'all making my face hurt, man. Yeah.
Look, I'm just gonna go right to the bottle. I don't know.
And I'm mad. Look, I'm mad. I'm at work. All I got is my water because my tequila show is sitting at home. That would have been a good
Hey,
place to take a drink.
CJ, I'm gonna tell you the depth, and just even talking about music, all the way back. Leland is the person who introduced me to people like BDP, all the way back to KRS One.
Wow.
Leland is the truth. When I tell
That's
you,
good. Yeah.
both of y'all being tied to music, Leland is that times 3,000. His
Yeah.
relationships are so sacred. Thousands are drawn to him. You can say his name in any pool, you're 2 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
But who he associates with, especially at this level, and ever since I've known him, he has always been the most selective. He's always been honorable and respectful to everybody. But who he selects to be in his sacred space, man, when I tell you people will take a bullet that he would never give a bullet for them because of how he serves and how he loves is beyond adjective. There's a reason why I call him in my inner circle, and you guys have heard me talking about him so much. His spirit supersedes any of this bullshit we're talking about.
Yeah.
He's an anomaly. And there's just like us, there's very few people that walk in that space that you can trust with everything and not worry about their integrity, we're not worried about no drama, not worried about no bullshit, and know their commitment. Why he's in Virginia right now is parallel to mine, why I'm taking care of my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's lost people in the last couple of years that has made he will move hell, mountain, and high water to take care of the people that are his soul. He's lost people to a gunshot. I don't even want him to get in that story right now. We're gonna have him on for another piece. But
well, hell, how you bring it up? And let me tell you about Tanya. Tanya is a woman of greatness.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about next week.
I already know Tanya. We're already still connected. We're already we'll be on here for another 3 hours between Tanya and Leland. We'll be on here for another 3 hours because
y'all are funny, man. Y'all making my face hurt, man. Y'all are making my face
Me and
hurt.
Tanya. I mean, I'm telling you, this woman right here. I mean, this woman done started from the bottom and she on the top, baby.
Don't you sound like Benita
I don't even gotta explain who she is. She's over there.
I didn't want to gossip, but you ain't had it for me.
She over there in Covina right now because she in Covina and I'm in Pasadena. We share that Dina together, that Nina. Shit.
No, this is law of attraction. There's nobody on this screen that is not in this vein.
You don't understand, man.
Face hurt.
Yeah, you don't get it.
My cheeks hurt.
But I mean,
tell you something. Tanya ain't even got to say nothing.
Let me tell you. Stop, nigga. What I'm telling us, and this going into 2021 is what needs to happen as far as building a village. We have everybody that we need, just like we have all the money that we need.
Yeah.
But we have not learned how to collaborate and bring these resources together to become a force to be reckoned with. That's why they can point over here and make us the distraction while they're doing the shit they are doing over here.
Yep.
That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
They don't fear this segment, yet Jewish people are only 2% of the population, but control 60% of the money.
Yeah.
We have the money. That's no slight to Jewish people. I got love all around the world. But it's really, I look in the mirror, and this is the plight of us as a people, as a parent, as a generation. And that's what I was just saying as far as what Jay just said, as far as finding the connection. Cameron's life shifted in 2013. So you had asked how I played in this part. Cameron's life shifted in 2013 when my father died. I had a village. I was not the present father. My father was the present father. I was present, but the leadership and the paternal instinct and the grandfather, I was blessed enough, as opposed to most families, like Leland just said, LL just said, he raised his child by himself. I was blessed enough to have a village, but when the patriarch passed, Cameron's life took a drastic shift.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking up at him at 19 years old saying, why you got all this shit on your face? What's going on with all this? 19 years old. This
did you finally see your child then?
Let me tell you, you're missing this point. 19 years old. I'm seeing all this shit on his face. And this brings me to tears. And I'm like, Negro, why haven't you shaved? And he looks at me and says, nobody taught me how to shave.
Oh. Yep. Oh, yep.
And I'm figuring out, where did I miss? How did I miss something like that? How much more have I missed? It's just the basics.
Yep.
Anyway.
And I think
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you saying this. Yeah.
I remember that time, and I think we do fight so hard for the bigger picture that sometimes we miss those details. We really do.
And just think, you miss those details as a present father. And so what happens to that is it cuts you to the core, right? Like, I feel that. And for people who did not have that same attachment to their father, girls who have their womanly things and didn't have a person there to teach them what they're supposed to do, it's a whole different connection. But for you, Byron, it was a learning lesson that not only did your son shift, but you shifted in a way to make sure that you never miss the small details ever again.
Yeah, great.
Hey, Leland, I have a question for you. Did you ever have to pull your daughters aside and say, "Hey, kind of back off on how you're treating that dude," or hold on being so forthright? Did you ever have those conversations with your daughters because you poured so much into them?
No, the conversations I had with my daughter probably the opposite, because I was setting them up to know how men are. So their engagement with men was, I think, for the most part, better understood than most girls, because they was being raised by somebody who understood the whole dynamic very well. They could give it to them from the side that they're going to be approached with the majority of the time. I mean, the mama could tell them something too, but as a father and somebody who's dated numerous women, of course, I know what's out there, what happens.
Right.
I was able to give them the real talk, not the play stuff they watch on TV. The stuff we indoctrinated with is not the lesson that we're supposed to have.
Right.
The real lessons come from the parents or from the grandparents or from that tribe, you know?
Okay.
And ironically, I'm actually writing a book now. I'll talk about the one I've been promoting in my trilogy for a Pulitzer and all that bullshit.
Is it entitled "Give a Shit Because You Have a Dick"?
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna rewrite that. It's actually,
That's a great title.
Actually, give a dick and don't give a shit.
You should know they was a joke book or something.
No, look, I get this shit from my mama. My mom is very quick, and sometimes she says shit, and I'm like, "Mama, how did you get?"
That came out of nowhere.
Hey, I'm taking you up on this. Because you have a dick, don't give a shit.
I want my 10%, motherfucker. And you know I'm still a businessman. I want my 10%, motherfucker.
The actual book is actually the 100 laws that I need you to know when your dad is gone, and it was actually inspired by my son, and then backed up with young men that didn't have a father, which is so prevalent within.
Well, I told Tanya what I'm already doing, working on.
Yeah,
and
that same exact thing. I'm working on something really good for that.
With an audio piece to it, and I want to hear, and we can collaborate on it because
let's do it.
My greatest, if I actually, God forbid, I leave anytime soon. If I were taken right now, my greatest flaw, my greatest pain would be in making sure that my son doesn't know God as he should. That's the first chapter. That's the first page.
But did you give him your concept?
Go ahead, Leland.
Byron, do you give your son your concept, or do you allow him to have concepts in which to explore to come to his own conclusion?
I'm giving him space now to explore his own. In fact, the reason why he's a gamer and the reason why he's buying his own professional game, the reason why he's trading is because I knew that I'm so clear on how our parents, generally speaking, want us to be the way they want us to be. And I'm so committed to my son not being anything that I want him to be, except for the best version of him and doing what he loves. Right. What do you love? That's my question when we sit down every time with a lunch, dinner, breakfast. What is it that I can support you in that takes your fucking breath away? That you will do for no money? And that is what I'm in. And it's crazy the conversations we're having now. But that's my only commitment to him in regards to spirituality. I need him to find his own space, his own place. In his passion, in his spirituality, in his mentality. He's now got a trainer. He's been working out. I encouraged it, but there's a difference in so many parents work so hard at motivating. And motivation to me is like helium. It blows away as quickly as you put it into somebody's brain or into their heart. What people miss is the distinction of being inspiring. So I live my life to the best that I can, and I just had this conversation recently. We can all do better, right? But to the best. And when we say it over and over again, we get into manifestation versus a storybook, and we truly are committed to being our best version of ourselves to the best of our degree, then we become, as each one of us are on this call, to so many, inspiring. I don't want to motivate my son. I want to inspire my son. I don't want him to look at me and say, I want to be like you. I want him to see what his father has become and what he's doing and saying, if my father, that's why we got so many freaking kids in jail. My father's in jail. My grandfather in jail. Shit, it works for him. Nigga, what? Bagging pants, this, that, and the other. And then you look at Steph Curry, Seth Curry, and Stephen Curry. My father was the best shooter. Guess what? They two of the top 5 best shooters in the league.
Because they were inspired by their father. Yeah.
You know, you look at the NBA, it's composed of 30-40% of people that had somebody in their life in the NBA. You look at people that have money, generally speaking, that inspire to create, or jail, or the streets. We have to become that inspiration of what is possible so that they can make their own choice in a vein that we aren't controlling. That's been the problem for so many years in our families, is what we're controlling. I mean, you look at the Asian families, I look at the suppression of the Chinese or the Indians, of those from India. You got to be a doctor, or you got to be an attorney. You got to marry an engineer.
Even Nigerian families think the same way. Yeah.
I think perspective is everything. And I what you were talking about a book. Have you guys ever seen Vagina Monologues? You ever heard of that?
Oh yeah.
I wanted to do a monologue situation about family like this with 5 different.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Where we talk about what each of us were doing in a decade and how we transition from one decade to the next. I think that all of us come from different perspectives. And to tell that story can touch the entire world, especially just you and I, Tanya, as women.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up in a foster care, but I understand exactly a lot of the things that you've gone through. And
one of the groups of women that I speak to, I'm a national director for an organization called Fatherless Daughters, women with unavailable, unattached, or absent fathers, because how we have our relationships with our fathers dictate how we treat money, how we have relationships, how we act on our jobs. And as that same example as Byron was given, it's the same thing for women, right? If you don't grasp a hold of someone positive in your life and you're constantly fed the negative, then what do you have? What's going to give you that inspiration to do better, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I'm speaking to these women and listening to these women and they're telling me, well, my daddy wasn't there, so I can't, or my daddy wasn't there. And I tell people in a minute, your life is without excuse. Because not only did I not have my mother and my father, but the things that I went through in the process of not having them, you can make it. You just got to change your mindset. Mindset is everything.
Oh, it's everything.
Mindset is everything. If you will it, it can be. It's just like if you say you can't be something, no, you can't be it because you've already told yourself you can't do that. Mm-hmm. I took can't out of my vocabulary the minute the judge told me that I would never return back to my birth mom. But everybody doesn't have that will to do that. And everybody doesn't have a Byron to show them that, hey, look, these are the things, this is the guidebook that you need so that you can become a better man. I'm not perfect, but these are the things that I've learned in my journey. And look at where I am at now. That's right. The same thing with me. People ask me all the time, well, how many loans do you have? I bought every single one of my businesses with 0 debt. It can be done.
We need to have a conversation.
Tanya, do you get tired of hearing, but you turned out so well considering. I can't stand to hear that, by the way.
Well, I'm going to say this. It's so interesting because if you look at family dynamics, when you have someone who went in a foster home, you're expected to be a drug addict, a prostitute, low paying job, no sense, no education. And so for me to be that person that shows that that's not true. And when someone says, well, how did you do all that?
How did you do all that?
How did you do all that? And I tell them my foundation was early. I understood what God meant in my life. And although I did not like the things that happened to me and the way I went, I kid you not, guys. I say this with every breath in me. I would not change it for the world.
Me either. I wouldn't
I
change it for the world. And people say to me all the time, well, you people assume that I grew up in a two-family household with money. And I always tell people that the difference between me and my life is I didn't know what to do. I just thought if I did the opposite of what I saw, I would get something different.
That's
that was
me.
the only foundation I had.
That is me.
That was the only foundation I had. I turned out okay because I decided to make different decisions without knowing where that was going to take me. I just knew it was going to take me in a different direction.
Yep.
You speak to fatherless women. I like to speak to adult children of addicts because I'm an adult child of a recovering addict, and I want to tell people just because your parent was an addict doesn't mean that you're going to be a statistic. You can make different decisions.
You know, the first time I ever drank in my life, Gene, I was 40 years old because I was afraid that if I took one drink, I would become an addict.
Oh my God, I got in fights in high school if you offered me drugs. I was like, oh, you want me to smoke some weed? I'm going to whoop your ass.
Well, Tanya, I got one for you. This is the first time I've had her drink.
Well, no, I can't say that. I was drinking at 13, 14.
And I was the opposite. I'm telling you, I was so scared of alcohol because both my parents, literally would have alcohol on the side of the bed to wake up to get out of the bed.
Yep.
My first time I got drunk, I was 40. And I kid you not, the second time I was 45. I will be 50, 363 days. My birthday was on Thursday. So I will be 50. And I can put on one hand, but it wasn't because I don't like alcohol, because I love tequila. Oh, by the way, Byron, I do like that Don Julio 1942. I just thought I'd put that out
Gene.
there.
My favorite. Thank you.
Well, Leland, I have a question. Go ahead, Tanya.
But I'm just saying, I said that to say that there are things from your past that will keep you from living because you don't know what that outcome would be if you partake. And that was my thing with drugs and alcohol, which is why I speak to the group that I speak to, because a lot of times they take those things and make them as their excuse to do what they're doing, when you got to stop wanting to be a victim. You got to you got to want to live happy. Like your heart should be happy. But some people don't.
And I want you both, because there's someone on our feed named Lakeisha Reed. And Red, Wendy, if you can pull up,
Red is a good friend of mine.
Red, okay. I want you, Wendy, to pull up what she said on the feed. She said, that was me. I never used drugs in fear of turning into my mother. And I wanted to know that, does that fear still bother you both as women, even now?
Every day.
I believe that there's something in me that could possibly have an addictive personality by default.
Yep.
Right? I didn't believe it with alcohol. And again, I didn't try marijuana until my late 20s, early 30s. And that's really not for me. I like hookah. You know what I mean? The alcohol part didn't scare me, but when I'm around people and this is Hollywood, let's keep it real, they snorting cocaine like they drinking soda. When I'm around that, in my younger years, I was confrontational. I wanted to fuck you up because I felt like you were putting me in a situation where I'm gonna have to fuck you up. Now I can be in that situation and look at it and be like, look, don't bring that over here. Don't even do it. Right? Because I fought so much in high school for people who were in that. I would literally get in a physical fight. That's probably where I learned to fight. In Baltimore, I was fighting. I got expelled from 2 school districts for fighting. Because if you look like you wanted to bring that to me, it was personal. I felt like you were trying to put me. I got hands, definitely. I felt like you was trying to put me in a situation that I wouldn't be able to recover from, which means I got to remove you. So you got to go.
So you were fighting your mother.
Yes, through other people. I didn't start talking about my mother's issues. I remember when I realized talking about it was therapy. When I hit like 17, 18, I used to hide it because I worked a 40-hour week since the 10th grade. So when my mom was doing her thing, I figured out a way that I can pay the electric bill. I can do these things so they wouldn't know I was in that situation.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I always had a drug dealer boyfriend. I might have hustled a little bit, but I believed in the 10 crack commandments. You don't get high in your own supply. That's a different life. Whatever. I did what I needed to do to survive during those times. However, I realized once I started to talk about it, I stopped being so angry.
It was therapeutic.
It was therapeutic.
And you found out you wasn't alone.
I found out I wasn't alone. And I wanted to address something that Lakeisha said. She was like, I couldn't understand why my mom loved her addiction more than me. Lakeisha, it took me years to figure out that she never loved her addiction more than you. And my mom never loved her addiction more than me. She just couldn't control herself. And that had nothing to do with me.
Wow.
And that's a fact.
That brought tears to my eyes. And
30s.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
To not my late 30s, my early 30s. When I realized that had nothing to do with me, and she probably loved me more than she loved herself, but she couldn't control that. And I was angry with her for that. And I remember I told her one day when we were in Arizona that I forgave her because that she didn't grow up one day and say, I'm going to be a bad mom, I'm going to be on drugs. That wasn't her intention. And she's an amazing mom now, by the way. She's an amazing grandmother. She overcame all of that. She is my superhero to this day. But Lakeisha, it took me a minute and well into my 30s of her being clean 7-8 years before I realized it had nothing to do with me. Zero to do with me.
I went through the same thing with my father. I didn't use drugs because of my father.
Me too.
And Leland, I was going to ask you, were you scared of raising your daughters by yourself?
Oh, no. I was more afraid of how she was going to be raised where she was at when I went and got her. Because her cousin sent me a picture of her in North Carolina. And she was like in some dirty Pampers. She was like 3 years old. This is some dirty Pampers running across a field. I mean, this is my child, you know. And the mom was hooked on drugs. And I had to make a decision. Like, I'm in New York. Do I leave my daughter down there to, you know, wing it with the mother and the grandparents down there and seeing more pictures like this, or do I give her a chance? But it's going to be uneasy for me, you know. I made a choice, so I drove down there, got her, and brought her back to New York and raised her.
You are speaking to so many fathers out there who are contemplating that issue. That just contemplating, can I do this by myself? You can. Look at the two.
You can do it by yourself.
But I want you to hear the story of why Leland did it because of his father. See, I didn't do drugs because of my father, because my father would have killed me. My father came from the streets. Yeah, so, and my uncles came from the streets, Chi-Town and St. Louis.
By way of Rodeo?
No, there wasn't no Rodeo.
It might have been Rodeo Road, but it wasn't Rodeo.
You guys are blessed enough to know my father, and you know how I feel about my father, then you would understand.
Yeah.
You don't combine,
you told us how amazing he was. Yeah.
You do not combine the 60s with education, the streets, and the military. That's a bad combination for a Negro coming out of 55, 60.
Yeah.
That's a bad, I mean, you're born into the streets. You then get into the military to become disciplined with the streets. And then you get educated how to work it.
That's a Molotov cocktail for your
ass. My God.
That movie I saw called The Panthers of the Black.
And he was just no joke. He's just that Negro. And I saw him I must have been 11 years old, and my favorite Uncle Stevie, did a standoff with the entire St. Louis Police Department.
Wow.
With 6 Doberman pinchers and 2 shotguns in both hands, and dared them to move. He was pretty much the one they sent in and trained everybody and everything and every dog to sniff out everything. And they pulled him over, and me and my little cousin were sitting there. I saw him put all 6 dogs out and see over 30 police cars at a standoff with my uncle with 2 shotguns that he had in his car. That was at 12 years old, in the middle of St. Louis, being pulled over for no reason. He said, "I'll give you everything you need." He said, "You think you?" And what was crazy is, within 20 minutes, I don't know if you guys know St. Louis. Within 20 minutes, he had all of St. Louis. He controlled the streets. The police could. It's like Chicago and St. Louis is a different, just like Maryland. It's like DC. It's just a different animal.
Yeah.
It's like Detroit. It's a different animal. There's a reason why every mayor that's been a mayor of Detroit has gone to jail. All the way up into 2020. It's a different animal.
And I have no regrets with that, by the way. I wouldn't go back and change my street. My street acumen, by the way, is I credit to my business acumen.
Oh, without that around me, my instincts.
Without not traditional education, not learning a formal way, I learned how to read people early to keep safe.
Yep.
So learning how to work a 40-hour week at 15 years old, I learned how to hustle on the street. I'm proficient in 4 different firearms by the time I was 15. So making a different decision to use that in a different era to me is where my greatest power came from. Not community college, none of that textbook shit meant anything. Everything.
I definitely agree with you, Gene, because I grew up in the streets of Pasadena, in the hood, in the projects, and I couldn't get that type of backbone.
Yeah,
that's what
my man is from Pasadena, California.
Pasadena, California.
Excuse me, I don't live on that
California,
side.
And it's straight hood.
Great, I don't live on that side. I don't.
We grew up in the hood, and I'm gonna tell you,
I live near the courthouse.
There's a hood in Pasadena.
Let me break it down for you, Leland. Summit and Mountain, Pasadena.
Thank you.
Which I don't live near. We're talking about a different time, a different age, and a different time, also.
Yes.
No. But wait. But let me break Pasadena down, not because of shame or anything. Pasadena is broken down by 2 parts, literally by the 210 freeway.
Yeah.
Everything on the other side of the 210 freeway going towards the mountains
is old money.
Is Gundina.
It's Gundina. You got to get to the mountain for it to be old money, love.
Pasadena, going towards South Pasadena and all that. That's the money. That's where all the things.
Really?
That's why I live. Okay, that's why I live. Okay, people.
You live with all the Caucasians.
Pasadena has a
That's
hood.
where you reside, CJ.
So
I am right by the courthouse. Safe.
So I say this to say that my family, that was their growing up with the drugs and alcohol in Pasadena, in the streets. And so as much as I was exposed to that early, that carried me through. Because I'd fight you, but you wouldn't know that today. But don't get it twisted.
Yes, you would.
Today about me.
Yes, you would, Tanya. Yes, you would. Now, I'm gonna tell you, some people have certain energy that you shouldn't try.
Yes.
It's unspeakable. You should not try this.
That's me.
That's why I'm so shocked when they try it. I'm like, do you think I will fix my lip gloss after this? Y'all got me fucked up.
Not the gloss on the lips.
Let me tell you. But what people don't, but you know what's so interesting though is that I was listening to Leland, and when you said that you got that picture, thank God that you had enough wherewithal within you and love in you to go get your child, and your child didn't end up in foster care. See, there's families like mine that did the opposite. They heard we got put in foster home and they all scattered. Because my birth mom was the black sheep of the family. And even up until the day she died October 3rd last year. Even to the day she died, she was true to who she was. When I walked into that hospital, she saw my brother. She was all excited and saw my brother. And she looked at me, and I'm not a cursor, but she looked at me and she said, "What the fuck you doing here?" But yet you had the hospital call me because you need me to take care of your final resting place. Because there was a love that she had for me, but she was in her age and everything she had went through. She never knew how to show it to me because of her addiction.
Yeah.
And I understood that enough to say, you know what? I know God's going to say to me, "Good job, my faithful servant." And I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, regardless of who she is and who she's represented in my life. So it's an amazing thing when you can look back on your life. Like for me, I can look back on my life and say, no, I wouldn't change. Do I like what happened? Of course not. But it has shaped me and molded me to have genuine relationships, friendships. My children pour into them. They are great children. I'm not just saying it because they're mine, but they got a chance to see a part of their mother that most people would not expose to them.
Yeah.
And because of that, I'm grateful.
The addiction.
And I would actually say that as far as, I'm sorry, Jay, I'm gonna let you go. Just give me 1 second. I was gonna address something you said, Tanya, and that is one of my favorite chapters in my books. I've been writing for the last year. That's where I've been underground. Is don't let people hold you hostage to your past.
Yep.
Fucking, you live in the past. If you live in the rearview mirror, you're guaranteed to have a crash.
Yep.
So many people live in the rearview mirror and create their future out of what they see from behind them and keep crashing over and over again, because they aren't present to the shit of how to create a future.
Yep.
And they hold on to the drugs, they hold on to the death, they hold on to the money. Now, I'm not saying forget what you just drove by or what you just lived through.
Learn from it.
And use that to inspire your ass to transform and read.
But what if you run out of gas and you in the middle of
stupid.
it?
I tell people all the time, in one of my books, I co-authored 3 books this year, but one of them is Testimony. And I say in that book, your past is a chapter in the book. It is not the period. It is not the end story. And as long as you are living and breathing on this earth, you're going to have so many chapters. You finish your book. Don't let nobody else finish your book for you.
You got the pen.
Right.
You got the
Yeah.
You are the narrator.
So Leland, I want to ask Leland this, just like I had my moment at 16 when I told my mom, hey, I want to meet my dad. I want to know who. She's like, okay, cool. Took me right over there to her. Did your daughters ever have that moment? Did your daughter have that moment where I want to meet my mom? I want to know who she is?
Yes, she did. And it happened when she was about 8 years old.
Oh,
and
early.
I told her she would never see him, but she could talk to him. So I made sure that I put him on the phone because her mom was a drug addict.
Okay.
Right.
You know, and she was doing things, and you know, that I didn't want my daughter exposed to. I mean, really shit that I didn't want her exposed to. So
yeah.
But I did let her talk to her on the phone. And that happened until she got into her teenage years. And then at that point, I told her when she gets that age, she can go see her if she wants it. She did.
Okay.
So she had it, but she's never really been, even today, she's not really close to her mom.
Okay.
But that's not my fault.
Yeah.
Guess what? That's the same thing on my end. Cameron is not, he was a mama's boy until he wasn't.
Correct.
And when he decided he wasn't, when I tell you he went to college his first year and he came back home, and I pray that she doesn't take this in a way because I love her. Just Belinda, if you watch it, if you see this shit, just so you know, youwouldthebomb.com. Okay. I wouldn't have the beautiful son I have without your ass and where he is. Just disclaimer. But when he came back home, his first year, nobody knew where he was. I was out of town. I was traveling all over the place. She raised him up until the time there was time to go to school. And there's a whole lot behind that. But when he came home, he had found one of his rich white friends and was up there in the hills somewhere for like over 2-3 weeks. I'm calling saying, how are you? What's going on? Now, your first year of school, you go to college, you come home, you go home. You want to go home to mama. You want to go get a good home-based meal. This nigga, I'm calling her like, so how's Cam? It's like, I haven't seen him. You haven't seen him? Where the fuck is my son?
Wow.
And he had distanced, and it's not her fault. I'm not blaming her at all. But he had distanced him so much and created such a space for whatever the rival and the strict is, which still goes on today. But the love is there. There's just a complete distance there. And I'm like, oh no, I got to get on a plane and go home and find your ass. Where the hell are you? You just came home from school.
Yeah.
And Jay remembers this. It was a major, mind fuck. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And so when we look at this, what we're looking at and what we're missing is, for me, I look at this space in the life that I'm in right now as to identifying, I wish I had gotten the season earlier of identifying the lifers. Now, what defines a lifer is somebody who nourishes your life, contributes to your life, builds your life, and is your community of people you can count on. Definitely the 4 people on this call, outside of myself, interactively. And when I interact with people right now, if I don't see you as a lifer, I'm so quick to prune the tree. It's just when you start seeing death as I see it, I don't have time to give you a second chance to figure out exactly, CJ. I just don't have the space I choose powerfully not to have the space and capacity to figure out if you're a lifer. And I'll give you an example, and I don't want to put this out there. There's so much that is present for me.
Well, which one you gonna do? You want to give us an example? You don't want to put it out there, damn it. Which one is it, damn it?
As a community, when it comes to, because we understand Maslow's laws, we have a different set of Maslow's laws. We have God, we have family, we have our future, we have finances, we have health. And we are failing in every area. Health, we're failing. Finances, we're failing. God, we're failing. And it does not have to be that way. It's a choice. And my father always said, if you aren't willing to do something about it, shut the fuck up. So I am that person. And I know I have people on this call that are those people, but it's amazing how I have people that are in my world. And it's like, I told you you broke, you hustling, you scrambling. That's your bitching conversation. I told you to buy Tesla was $300. Before it hit 3,000, it split 5 times in less than the last 4 months. I told you to fucking go get a piece of Bitcoin. It was $11,000 less than 7 to 8 days ago. Now it's at 19,000 today. Hit a peak high, and it's gonna go to 300. Why the fuck are you talking about being broke and you sit up there and you don't listen and you don't want to have a conversation? Oh, when time permits itself, after you've drowned, will you want to borrow money from me? Fuck you.
Here, look, I want to say the human factor in all of this, because what I want y'all all to know is that Cameron's dad isn't perfect and I'm not perfect. And even when Cameron came back from his situation, anytime he got angry at his dad, I always told him, I said, you're going to make mistakes that you're going to need us to forgive you for.
Right.
Continuously do that. And just like we forgave you, you must forgive him. I say that to him all the time.
Which
Even
starts
if
with
it's
love.
a situation that is not right. I know one thing, his dad loves him very much. And so when they're at odds, it's as easy as it would be for me to say, you're right, this motherfucker is off, or he did this, or he did that. I don't do it. Even if I want to, I do it in private to myself. But when I'm talking to Cameron, when I'm talking to him, it's okay, maybe that wasn't right, but guess what? You're going to do some shit that's not right too, and we're going to forgive you because we love you anyway. So
if I can tap into what you're saying, I want to scream at what Jay is saying. There's laws to the universe. Unity being one, verse being song, which is why you could put 5 different dimensions, 20 different dimensions in one room and turn on Whitney Houston's song or turn on Sting's song, and everybody will sing the same exact words. And as soon as it goes off, they'll speak in different languages.
Man.
When you have that vibration in that universe and you live by the laws, then it governs the way we actually fuck man's laws. I tell people, and Jay knows this, the devil has 3 best friends: fear, worry, and doubt. Now, God has 3 best friends. And I'm going to put them in order for you. Love, which she said that 5 times in that conversation. Regardless of anything else of how that man was, he loves his son. The second one is patience. That's God's second best friend. And the third one is faith. Just like there's 7 sins, there's 7 laws that govern everything that God puts in. That's the number of completion. But those are the top 3. If you can start with love, then everything else can be forgiven. Sometimes we forgive people just so we can move the fuck on.
Doesn't mean they got to be in your presence in your life and a part of every detail. Doesn't mean that you got to have them around you if they're toxic.
24/7.
It just means you got to move on.
When you said forgive to move on, that is right there. It's like forgiveness is for you. It is not for the other person.
It is not.
And until people understand that, truly understand that. And I mean truly, like, it hurts to forgive someone. God didn't say be a fool. He said forgive. If you forgive someone, that don't mean keep allowing them in your life and let them trample over you.
Exactly.
Now you just become a fool. But you forgive them genuinely, guess what? I look back, I don't even look back. I'm like, I forgave that person. They're not getting no more room. CJ had to talk me off the ledge not too long ago. I forgive you. You're not getting no more room. You're not getting no free real estate. My life is going to go on.
That's right.
And not only you not getting no free real estate, I'm gonna let you see my for sale sign on the backside, because I'm keeping it moving. But people don't understand what it truly means to forgive, and until you've been on that ride, you gonna forgive with the little Crown Royale?
No. This is a drink of the family. My baby sister Rachel said, "What are you drinking?" But the whole family drinks Peace Royale.
I had to forgive and clear my air.
It's so real, Tanya, because the thing about it is, it's just like loaning somebody money. It doesn't matter what resources. I don't give $1 of time, energy, or what you doing today going to get his peach, that Negro. I don't give a dime that I can't walk away from.
That's it.
I don't loan $1. I don't invest $1 that I'm not willing to lose.
Yep. If I can't give it to you, you can't have it. At the end of the day.
For me to sit up there, I'm dealing with the situation right now on 3 different fronts in which money is lost. For me, it's like it was worth it for me to pay that money, just never to see you again.
Yeah.
Bye.
That love and that respect and that trust, just to know I never have to give it again.
Yep. Let me tell you guys
earlier.
Let me just say thank you guys so much for allowing me to be a part of your platform. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. CJ, really?
I told you he needed a drink.
He got the big cup. I ain't mad at you though.
Look at here.
I love you guys. It's been amazing. I'm always here.
Love you,
I would
Tanya.
love to, you know, when
It's nice
when
meeting you.
I ain't gonna even say when COVID is over. When y'all ready, let me
Right,
know.
because COVID ain't never gonna be over.
It ain't.
Another conversation will be
let me know.
Tanya, where are you based out of?
I'm in Covina, California. I'm just north of you,
Nice.
and I like to drive.
Come
Tanya,
on,
come to the
girl.
beach. It'll be our treat to take you to dinner and
Yes.
have some seafood.
Some
I'm
1942 down Julio.
I'm in. I'm in.
She got 2 bottles. God damn it!
I'm in. I'm in.
All right.
Can't expect less.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great
All right,
rest of your
Tanya. Thank you
evening.
for coming through. Thank you for coming through. So, Byron, you want to go ahead and get us out of here?
We
Man,
didn't talk about none of the other stuff we were supposed to talk about, which is good because this was to me the best. Thank you, Leland.
Yes.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you, Leland, for
You
coming
know what I
through.
want
You
y'all
know.
to talk about though?
What?
Y'all have to call me on here. I want to talk about the divine masculine, divine feminine energy of relationships.
Oh,
Okay.
let's do it.
alpha energy.
I want to talk about that alpha male energy and how the women need that as opposed to that beta male shit that they settle for.
I agree.
I'm
that
in.
ain't being talked about enough.
That
You know
that
how I
will.
know it ain't
I'm
being
writing
talked
that in.
about enough?
That will be on our
It
next
ain't
week's
being
topic.
talked about enough because I'm getting too many phone calls from weak ass brothers talking about how miserable they are, and women too.
That will be on next week's topic. Be
Leland,
prepared to be called.
Just what CJ said. Send me a picture. We highlighting you. We doing that shit next week.
Next week.
Yeah, man, we got to bring that on board because there's too many men out here that need to hear what they should be doing. Even if they don't change and become alpha males, because you can't make a beta male an alpha male right away.
You can't turn a bitch into a man.
It don't happen. That ain't how it goes down. But you can stop some of his beta male tendencies so the woman can be better.
But can you develop bitch assness into alphaness?
No, yes, you can. It takes time because it doesn't happen right away.
There's some artwork in there.
But here's the thing: as he's developing from his beta male to his alpha male, it becomes better for the woman.
But are we talking about somebody from between the ages of 14 and 25? Because I don't know if you can transfer a bitch assness in a 50-year-old.
That's the age that they need to be learning it. They need to be getting that information at that age.
But I think they have to attach themselves to males to do it, not us.
But hold on, and I know hold on because I know I know where we're going with this, and I want to make sure we go this next week. But I will tell you this: I grew up with an alpha female. In turn, made me an alpha male. I didn't have any figures of alpha males around me. But I tell you this: ain't no beta shit up in here. This is straight up alpha male. But I learned it from an alpha female, and we can talk about that dynamic too because alpha men think they need to be alphas because of another alpha man or what they learned in the streets, because a lot of people get confused masculinity and street cred with alpha and home bringing.
Nothing to do with
I know.
Nothing.
But that's what I'm saying. Bitch assness carrying guns
So
right now.
I'm talking about the male-female dynamic relationship.
Let me tell you something.
Male-female relationship.
So this is a heterosexual conversation, yes?
Leland, we are not making this a 3-hour show, Leland. I know what you're trying to do. Player.
Have we kept you guys for 2 hours? We have. This topic has been amazing. So
it has been.
Because you know why? I brought it up because I've only seen the women's side. I've only seen the woman's side. I was raised by a single woman, and I've only seen a lot of single women raising men and wondering, did the fathers have the same mindfulness of,
It couldn't be. It couldn't be because if that was true, she couldn't be alpha.
If you don't say that one more time,
she can't be alpha if there's an alpha male in the house.
Say it again.
She cannot be alpha
if there's an alpha male in the house.
Well, I'm telling you, my mama was in that house.
But hold on. I gotta say this, Leland.
But she will become alpha if the male is beta.
My mama was in that house.
The woman is going to be alpha.
I gotta say this though: if she is alpha, she will turn that off when she enters the house.
Yes.
Because
You know
I
why?
must say, I know I'm an alpha female, but when I walk through that door,
Stop
when
this,
it comes
damn
to
it!
Robin,
Stop
I
it,
turn
damn it!
that off.
I want to have this conversation next week because not that we're gonna go over. It's simply because I want to make this another hour and a half topic because there are a lot of things to break down in this,
Oh,
and I
man.
don't want to cheapen it. So let's talk about this next week.
No.
Leland, do we have you next
CJ,
week? Yes.
CJ, it ain't 1 hour. It's
Oh
gonna
no,
be
we already know that, but we
we
say that we say that. Excuse me, sir. We say that to our sponsors.
Well, by all means, sponsors.
Which we don't have yet, but we just say that. But no, we're gonna talk about this because I want to also bring some other folks on that's gonna break down this shit because hell, I may even bring my mama on to get her take on this. But
I would love to hear it.
yeah, man, I'm
But your
telling you,
dad
you
wasn't in
think
the
I'm
house,
something
though, right?
else? You think I'm something else? Huh?
No, but your dad wasn't in the house when you was being raised by your
Wasn't
mom.
present at all.
Okay.
Yeah, wasn't
Yeah,
present
well,
at
your
all.
mom had to take the alpha role. She had
Yeah.
no choice.
And I'm talking about no nonsense. Her thing was the streets are not gonna show you shit. I'm gonna show you everything. And that was her mindset.
And the other thing is, you can have a father in the house too, and he still not be present.
Yeah.
Hello, say that again.
But you know what, Leland, and I said I want to go do this. I'm gonna ask you
present.
this. You can have a father present. A father in the house that's not present. Can he be an alpha to others but be a beta in the house?
You mean having an outside family?
No. Be an alpha to people at his job, people he surround himself with,
Nah,
and then be a beta at home.
If he's got that beta mentality at home, he's got that shit.
I'm sorry, I lost me for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want as an alpha female. I don't want a beta male.
It ain't no switching.
It ain't no
Ain't
switching.
no back and forth with no alpha male shit.
Yeah.
Ain't no I'm a beta for this period of time and now I'm an alpha over here, or I'm an alpha at work and I'm beta at home. That shit don't work. If he's alpha at home, he's alpha in every situation of his life. When he's dealing with other people, when he's dealing with niggas from his job, he's not gonna take no shit from the boss at his. If he's got a job, but most alpha males don't work for nobody. They should.
The way you do anything is the way you do everything.
But most people assume that alpha females are with a beta man, and that's not always true.
Wait,
that ain't true.
God,
most people assume that if she is an alpha female, she's with a beta man.
No, she's a female with an alpha male.
Yes, and they assume that I had a coworker come over to the house one time, and he was shocked that I asked Robin, did I want me to serve him first before everybody else? I'm always going to ask that. The meal that I make is really for him. You just get to eat it. So when he saw that, he was like, I thought you would be the way you are at work when you're at home. No, motherfucker. I don't want to be that way. At home, the way I got to be with you bastards at work, that don't work that way.
So I don't think that's becoming a beta female. I think that's becoming just submissive.
Yes, to my alpha male.
To your alpha male, yeah.
But I will not submit to a beta male. I will eat him and rob him. I will treat him like shit.
It's not possible.
There's no way you can submit to a beta male.
It really comes down. Agreed. It comes down to knowing your role. I was like, and Jamila remembers, and Dara. I was with an alpha female. This bitch was alpha, and the reason why it didn't work is because she wanted to be the alpha in the house.
Doesn't work that way.
And she wanted to be the alpha in public. And that's where the competition came. And it really is a mentality. I want to get into the whole thing of it. But if you challenge me in public, we're going to have a problem. I don't care if you're family. I mean, it could be you.
That's me straight up. You don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
My family, if you're down with me, and you don't have to agree. It's like when we get back to the house, it's like, nigga, what were you talking about? And what were you doing?
Right.
But to challenge and conflict with me in public, I could be doing with the greatest intentions and saying the wrong thing, but you then challenge and then put me in the face.
Even if you're wrong, it's not right.
100%.
Even if you're wrong, it's not. If Robin is wrong about something, I might give him the side eye and we'll have that conversation in the car. I'm gonna back his wrong shit though in public.
But I will tell you this.
I'm so mad. Y'all sound like damn robots right now.
If it's an alpha perspective, Leland and CJ, we could be out right now.
Yeah.
Individually, and you get in a fight for the wrong reason. You could be drunk. You could have offended somebody. Just because you're in the wrong, it has no issue with right now. I'm gonna kill the person that's coming at you.
Yep.
They gonna die just because they came at you. For whatever their reason is, they're dead. Now, when we get back in the car and get home, we gonna have
to bury the body. Now I gotta bury your body because of your ass.
But I'll tell you this: I have never met a beta Scorpio female, and Ms. Yancey can attend to that because my mom is a Scorpio. I have never met a beta Scorpio female. You have?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, but here's the trick though, CJ. I have because and Jay will tell you, I attract. Yeah, Leland will tell you about this as well because he's deep into this as I am. We went back to this 20 years ago. I attract more Scorpios than anything on the planet. I have met beta. Here's the problem. Here's the distinction, CJ. The majority are alpha.
Yes.
The ones that are not alpha are conniving.
Conniving and manipulative. That's right. And they pretended.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But more women are becoming alpha now.
Yeah.
We're in a fucking pandemic of I don't know what the hell kind of man we got going on right now. I don't know what the fuck is going on in this world. I'm so fucking confused by it.
It started with Beyonce. We run the world. She started this shit. I'm blaming Beyonce's ass.
I do believe we run the world. However, I know my position when it's time to play it.
I blame the men.
There's the difference. Because you teach that lesson because the rest of them are just buying we run the world and then on their lane.
I am cutting all you motherfuckers off because this conversation gonna go on for another hour and something. And Leland, I know what you're
I still got a bottle, nigga.
Me too.
Well, I suggest we start it off early next week with this one, because
Leland, we're gonna bring you on at the top of the hour of the show for next week. Because I do think this is a conversation that a lot of our listeners are going to chime into because a lot of people consider themselves alpha and don't even know the characteristics of an alpha. You know what I'm saying? Some people consider themselves who they are, and it's
I'm
like,
nah,
that's not true.
They're gonna be texting in that damn thread 100 miles an hour.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna piss off. You're gonna piss off men, but you're gonna piss off more women than you're gonna piss off men.
100%.
I promise you, women gonna chime in with the worst shit.
And that's because women have had to fend for themselves because there hasn't been enough men that have been taught how to be fucking men to be there for the woman. So she's been fending for herself for so long. Even the weakest bitches out there, forgive me, ladies, for utilizing that word in this capacity, but the weakest woman out there has been fending for herself. Then when you put that in place, they're going to be like, you got so much history, so much in that rearview mirror, so much pain that is associated with what they had to
piss them off. Let me tell you something about an alpha female.
She knows
that.
But Jay, I didn't say the alpha female. Jay, I didn't say the alpha female. Jay, I didn't say the alpha female. I said
I'm talking to Leland.
No, okay, because I'm saying the beta women.
You're not gonna make us mad because I know for a fact that I shouldn't have to play this role, but I got to because ain't enough of alpha males out there. So.
Let me tell you,
ladies and gentlemen.
Hold it. What Patrice, you know how many times I've heard this shit right here? What Patrice Johnson just wrote. She said, "I'm tired of being
tired of it." High five, fucking Patrice. I don't want to lead the way, but I know you know what, motherfucker? I'm forced to because I don't want what the bitches who don't lead the way have.
You see what you did, Leland?
Be a wonderful conversation.
You see what you did, Leland?
I told you it's my evil older twin.
You see what you did, Leland?
I can't wait.
Okay, Byron.
I love you, Leland.
Gene, have the kids, have the folks bring their cheering back up in here.
Bring the cheering back.
There's so many people that think
this will go on until about 11 o'clock.
You know what? We got so many family members.
I have no idea now. I don't even know what I'm singing no more. You
don't even know what about. I'll tell you this. I actually, I thought it was on Thursday.
Crazy will be good right now.
Damn.
I was going to do my poetry tonight, but I'm going to do my poetry next week because I thought it was on Thursday. I was all prepped and shit.
What'd you say, Leland?
Gonzalez.
All we're gonna say is
you guys sound like y'all are in a box or something. Like I don't know. I lost all.
I know something happened. Can you guys hear me? How'd that sound, y'all?
Yeah,
audio
you told Satan what his 3-word. He done fucked it up. Yes.
Satan out here playing around.
Yeah, out here playing around and shit.
I rub my own damn head. Fuck the betas.
Prince Ali, Maria, Come on.
All right. So we have, I mean, it's just so, you know what? So the essence of the conversation of all you guys are on here, we want you to come back. We're going to actually acknowledge everybody next week because we have gone so long. There's so many of you on here, and you guys, those that have been faithful to us, which is 80-70% of y'all, we love you. This is a conversation that if you're going to be offended, don't fucking get on our call.
Mario.
Yeah, that asshole.
Got your name that
We talk about unapologetically. You know, if you get to know us, if you know us, then you know we put God first, our family second, our business third, and all of this is just fuckery because we needed an outlet during COVID times, and we needed a space in which we could be ourselves without permission, without apology, without validation. And so the people we bring on, like my brother Leland, everybody, we live in a space in which we are just very much, and it's growing organically just because, I mean, we got so many people that, you know, I just, too many names tonight. We are going to acknowledge everybody next week. We already established the topic. Alpha females, alpha males. That's what we're talking about, family. The 4 we're going to be on. Get on early. It's going to be amazing. Share it with your family and friends. You can bring your fucking kids back in the room now. You know. Damn baby kids. But in all realness, we are so grateful for each one of you participating in what we do and how we do. When I came up with this concept and put together CJ and Jay, I knew that it would just expand. And each one of you are an expansion of what we're doing, of just the seed in the soil that we grow this orchard of don't give a fuck and just truly being able to be fully expressed and truly loving on people at the same time. So I just want to thank you. We're grateful. And we always close out with CJ doing his specialty and being able to sing to us. And this is where I turn my alpha once a week for just this COVID time into a bitch because this motherfucker can sing. It's the only time. Outside of that, fuck with me if you want to. But aside from that, if I was a woman, I throw just like with once you see Leland's art and what he does to be able to draw. If you see Leland's art, I throw my panties at him. I go buy some panties to throw at Leland. I buy panties to throw at fucking CJ. Because when you find people that are committed to who they are and live in DGF, you find where God shows up in their life and puts a light on them that makes the world stand in awe and bow down. And so that's what we have right now. You guys are blessed enough. If you're on for the first time, you might want to stay on for just these next couple of minutes and hear this Negro's voice. It's amazing. But we will see you same time, same station, next week, 6 p.m. I love you, CJ. Go ahead and close us out and bring it to the table.
Since it's the holiday season and I just got back from Florida singing with the 40-piece orchestra, I want to give y'all this. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is a night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining till he appeared and our soul felt its worth. The thrill of hope, a weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees. Oh, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine. Oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night divine. There you go.
Okay, CJ.
You know, I could have sang a few stolen moments is all that was shared. You got your family and they need you there. Though I tried to resist being last on your list, but no other girl's gonna do. So I'm saving all my love for you. All right, anyway, we gone. Peace out on that.
Peace.
Y'all let me know when it's going down.
We
We're
will.
gonna let you know. We're gonna let you know.
Hey,
Thank y'all for coming
Leland,
out.
there's people in the thread for Facebook, Leland, asking for your IG. I need you to show up with your artwork in there, and you should have the rest of our IGs by now. If not, just show up next Tuesday and we'll give it to you. But Leland, there's a lot of people asking for your Instagram.
It's
so that
my
we can
name, Leland Sharp. Leland Sharp.
Leland Sharp.
Leland Shaw.
Leland
name.
Sharp. Said say his name. That's his
Say it
name.
loud. Say it loud.
We are
Say
going to
my
bring
name.
Leland. We're going to bring Leland back next week, you guys, and I really, you know, we're gonna get into that alpha beta, because we ain't talking about beta fish either. We're gonna
All
or
right,
are we?
alpha females, y'all be ready.
But
Why
Gene's gonna have
why
the
did
good
me and
face.
Byron have the same face on my beta fish?
I can't wait to hear what Gene gonna say on this the next
Woo!
week.
All right, we
I'm
love
ready
y'all.
for you, Leland.
Yeah. See, it's starting
I
again.
know
It's starting again.
you are.
Leland,
Did you
Virginia
say
is
beta?
calling.
Did you say beta fish?
I sure did, and you and I gave the same reaction. We talking about hold
He's talking
up,
about them
fish.
fighting fish.
Hold up, fish. Hold
That's
up,
the
I
beta
don't
fish.
know
He's
no
talking about
beta
the fighting
fish.
fish.
I'm more
hold
like
up,
a shark.
fish.
Hold on.
We love y'all. We thank y'all for tuning in, bringing to the table. Make sure
Let this motherfucker off.
it's a lot of leftovers this time. So
Thanks for
make sure
having
y'all
me.
share the
Thanks for having me
leftovers.
on, guys.
And
Love you,
Have
we will
fun.
see
Okay,
y'all.
have
We will
fun.
see
I
y'all
love
next
you,
week.
Jill.
We'll see